food and supplies to tens of thousands of people.
I am shocked how many elderly people came here. They're afraid, and they realize now that there are more people than boxes.
For just $25, you can help rush an emergency food box to the elderly Jews in Ukraine. Many of them are hungry, frightened, and alone. Today, there's a special opportunity to double your gift's impact. Call now, and your gift's impact will be doubled.
The people of Ukraine are caught in the crosshairs of war. Many of these precious people are Holocaust survivors, elderly Jews who are sick and dying. They have no food, and we must reach them now before it's too late.
The world is in a war again. I am alone. I'm afraid of the bombs. I'm scared. I am old. There is no food.
Just $25 helps rush emergency food to elderly Jews in Ukraine who are in urgent need today. Please call, scan, or go online right now.
I will not starve. Thank you, good people.
We can be the hope to the Jewish people who are suffering in Ukraine. Your help is desperately needed now.
Thanks to generous...
You're watching the Dove TV, encouraging and informative for Bend and Central Oregon. Seen on KBND 14 and these Dove TV affiliates. Good morning. You're tuned to the Dove, encouraging and informative, helping Oregon, Northern California, Idaho, and Nevada start the day with news and encouragement. This is Mornings on the Dove.
Well, good morning to you, and happy Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right.
This is it. This is where we, well, we'll talk about that later.
Breakfast burritos.
Breakfast.
That's a way to kick off Cinco de Mayo.
Burritos. Yeah. So we have breakfast burritos. All right. Good morning to you. Happy May 5th. The Force hopefully was with you yesterday. Today you're on burritos.
That's right. We went from the 4th to burritos. Yeah, all right, man.
All right, good morning to you. Happy Tuesday. A lot going on in the news. There always is. We'll get you caught up. The weather, well, you know, it's just nice.
Kind of nice, yeah.
Kinda nice out there.
Yep.
We like it. I actually slept with all the windows open last night.
Wasn't that nice?
Yeah, that fresh
beautiful.
air was good.
Yep.
All right, good morning to you. What do you got, man? What's
Well,
up?
first of all, it is National Teacher Appreciation Day, and
really?
we appreciate you forming those young minds full of mush. Well, that was a Rush
Limbaugh
term.
Yeah.
But you are appreciated. You do a vital job, and our hats off to you. Also, National Foster Care Day. Talking about doing an important job. The foster care programs are very important, and we're a little concerned about ours in Oregon because there is a move away from some of the basics of life, you know.
Well, the foster care system here has become opinionated
and political.
Has their own political and biases as to where somehow Christian families are disqualified because of their faith.
Right, because they won't extol the transgender virtues and the ideologies on their kids.
Well, anyway, keep
so-called. Yes,
so-called.
so-called.
Law's on your side.
Yes.
Okay.
And our hats off to you who are struggling with it. And again, too, I know folks who have actually left the state so
Because
they can
of that?
adopt kids. Yep. It's National Cartoonist Day. And do you have a cartoonist who is a favorite of yours?
Well, you know, I was kind of partial to Daffy Duck. I like Bugs.
I like
And
Bugs.
I like Yosemite Sam.
Yeah. Oh, I like the and Roadrunner. I loved Roadrunner.
Yeah.
You know, all the ways that Wile E. Coyote, you know, could self-destruct.
So
He's kind of like,
Warner Brothers and Disney was kind of competing for those.
yeah.
You know.
Right.
Yeah, so-
And then, of course, you had Mel Blanc, who did
Yeah.
voices for everybody. But, you know, I look at, you know, I'm looking at an analogy in the Roadrunner series. You know, the Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote. Wile E. Coyote is kind of like the left. Roadrunner's kind of like the right. Trying to stay one step ahead of the destruction, trying to be put on him by the left. And the left keeps blowing up.
Now, I hope this comes out right.
Okay, please.
All right, so
Save me.
when you go into the men's room here at the Dove,
Okay. Yeah.
there's a picture on the wall. Do you ever notice it?
Uh-huh.
It's my. I put it there.
Yeah, it's cool.
And it's all of the Warner Brothers cartoon characters flying something.
Right. Yeah, that's very cool.
So they're all flying an airplane or a balloon or something like that. Yeah.
We celebrate Cartoonist Day in the men's room.
There you go.
Moving on, it's National Totally Chipotle Day.
Oh.
The chipotle, a
don't like the
smoked,
flavor.
dried jalapeno pepper. What's not to like?
Yeah, well, that's...
Enjoy that. Sprinkle it over your hoagie because it's what we're eating today. It's National Hoagie Day. Now, it may go by many names, but on this day, National Hoagie Day celebrates a hero of a sandwich. And, of course, it is called a hero. It's also called the sub, a grinder, an Italian, a torpedo, or a baguette. And whatever you call it, enjoy. But it's just, you know, long loaf, maybe an Italian or French bread, cut lengthwise, filled with, well, whatever you can find in your pantry.
Yep.
So enjoy that. Take it to the moon. It's National Astronaut Day.
All right.
Now, a couple fun facts about astronauts. Did you know that the Apollo 11 astronauts had no life insurance?
Really?
So instead, they signed photos of themselves for their families to sell in case of a fatal mission.
Really?
Yes. Yes. The word astronaut comes from the Greek astronautes, meaning star sailor. And all astronauts, check this out, on the International Space Station, all U.S. astronauts must learn how to speak Russian, so they can operate the ISS using Russian language manuals if necessary, because there's a Russian segment to the ISS. Parts of it were constructed in the U.S. and parts in Russia. They're trained to cope with isolation, confinement, and high-stress situations, and astronauts age slightly slower in space due to time dilation effects from relative velocity and reduced gravitational influence. They experience blood rushing to the head. It's kind of a morning show phenomenon. Changes in vision and other psychological effects due to microgravity. So we must be dealing with microgravity or something here, but that is what is going on in space.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that. So they signed pictures just in case, huh?
Yeah, that was their insurance policy. Wow. How about that?
Well,
I wonder if that was NASA policy, if they went outside the rules or what. But
so where are those pictures now? They've been
that's
sold?
a great question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wow.
Enjoy your hoagie.
So, well, how do you take a grinder and an astronaut and put it together? You get a weatherman.
A look at our forecast from Grange Co-op. Today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, mostly sunny with daytime highs near 77 or 78 for Vancouver, Portland, and Wilsonville. Patchy morning fog in McMinnville that's sunny with a high near 76. Moving down the Willamette Valley, mostly sunny with highs in the mid-70s for Salem and Albany. Patchy fog, then sunny and 74 in Corvallis, and mostly cloudy, gradually becoming sunny near 75 in Eugene. Sunny and nice today across central Oregon with daytime high temperatures in the upper 70s in Prineville and mid-70s for Bend and Sun River. Also sunny skies in Boise, Idaho with a high near 79. Along the Oregon coast, decreasing clouds becoming sunny in mid-60s in Coos Bay, partly sunny in upper 50s to near 60 in Port Orford and Brookings, and patchy fog, then partly sunny and 60 in Crescent City, California. In southern Oregon, temperatures move up today under sunny skies with highs in the low 80s for Grants Pass and Medford and near 77 in Ashland. The Klamath Basin will see sunshine as well with highs in the mid-70s. Into northern California, sunny in upper 70s around Wairika. Mostly cloudy, gradually becoming sunny in low to mid-70s for Redding and Chico. Patchy fog over in Fort Bragg, then partly sunny in upper 50s. In the Bay Area, patchy fog, then partly sunny in upper 60s for Santa Rosa and Napa. A slight chance of showers in San Francisco, then mostly sunny in mid-60s. And patchy fog in San Jose, then partly sunny in near 67. For Central California, partly sunny in Sacramento, Stockton, and Fresno with highs in the upper 60s to near 70. A chance of rain, then partly sunny in Visalia and Bakersfield with highs in the upper 60s to low 70s. It's your Tuesday weather from Grange Co-op.
All right, there's a picture of, well, the valley got a little bit of cloud cover this morning. Not much, but a little bit of a cloud cover there this morning.
Well, here is an interesting topic to start our day. We're going to listen in on forgiveness. Now, when it comes to forgiveness, when you forgive somebody, does it mean that you automatically then trust them? Well, here's Bayless Connolly with a look at this.
God wants us to walk in love and to give of our time, give of our talents, give of our resources, but not to anyone, not to just anyone under all circumstances. God wants us to walk in love and to forgive, but He doesn't want us to just trust everybody. You know, I'm going to forgive, and it is a gift I give freely, but I am not going to trust everybody. You know, we're compelled by the love of God to forgive. We're commanded by the scriptures to forgive others, even as you know, Christ has forgiven us. And it's part of our nature. That love has been poured out into our hearts. But some people have confused trust with forgiveness. I'm going to forgive you, and I'm not going to hold aught against you, but trust has to be earned. And so I'm not going to let you back into my life, you know, to hurt me or to hurt my family all over again. You've got to prove that you are trustworthy. And so I'm going to love you, but I'm not going to trust you until you show that you are trustworthy.
Well, I think that takes a lot of pressure off, but there's another thing too. Forgiveness does not mean reconciliation.
Oh, that's one to swallow, yeah.
See, people think that when you forgive, somehow you have to go and reconcile.
Exactly, yeah.
No, forgiveness is cleansing your own heart. And what Bayless is basically saying there, it's really a tough thing to do. I think you have to forgive because you are forgiven of your sins, okay? And we don't understand the forgiveness of God and how He forgives and forgets.
Yeah.
We forgive, but we don't forget.
Oh, yeah.
We're limited to this human experience on earth. But it does not mean that you have to reconcile. I think it means that you protect your health by maybe keeping a distance, and he's making the point that you have to earn that trust to get back in. That doesn't mean it kind of sounds like you're sending a mixed message that you really haven't forgiven. No, you have forgiven. And let me say this: if you have aught in your heart and you're still taking communion and you're wondering why you're having a bad day, that's the problem right there. And the scripture is pretty clear about that. All right, so much for that sermon.
All right.
All right, good morning to you. Happy Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah.
All right, 10 minutes past the hour. Let's take a look at some of the top stories for you today. The war in the Middle East back in the news, and the U.S. destroyed 6 Iran boats yesterday and shot down missiles and drones fired at U.S. Navy and commercial vessels there in the Straits. As they're trying hard to put together a safe passage for boats. I understand there's over 150 boats that want to get out. And they're trying to figure out, can they escort these things out safely? In the meantime, U.S. Apache and Seahawk helicopters hit 6 of those Iranian small boats, threatening commercial shipping. You know, those little fast things? So they just fly over them with a helicopter and take them out.
Well, kind of like they do with the drug runners coming up from South America.
There you go. So in the meantime, Iran has fired a couple of shots at U.S. ships, but no damage really has taken place. And the United Arab Emirates said it was targeted by Iran strikes, including one on its vital energy hub. And so Iran is still lobbing missiles into their neighbors. Iran is still shooting at boats and things, and yet we are supposedly under a ceasefire. Now, you explain this.
I have no idea.
I have no idea how this rhetoric works. So in the meantime, the president is launched Operation Freedom, and that is to get these boats out. And apparently Operation Freedom is different than Epic Fury. 2 separate operations. So Secretary Hegseth explained that a little bit earlier this morning. This next story, are you ready for this? I think this is the game changer. I've been wondering about this and thinking, we all want the citizens to rise up and take their government back.
Exactly. We're wondering when.
The president said yesterday, the Iranian people need guns. That is the game changer. Here's the president.
if you have 5 people with a gun and 250,000, the 5 people with a gun, assuming it shoots fast enough, which they do, the 5 people they're going to win. They don't have weapons. They lost 42,000 to be exact. 42,000 people in about a 2-week protesters, innocent, unarmed protesters. You know, they killed the wrestler. He's actually a world-class wrestler.
Yep.
They killed him and his 2 friends. They hung him from a crane in the square.
Well, they're lunatics.
So we're not dealing with, you know, your typical people. Despite all of that, we've obliterated their military. I mean, literally. Now they may have built up a little bit over the. The one bad thing about a ceasefire is you can build up a little bit. We'll knock that out. We know everything they've done. We'll knock that out in the first. Look, if they had guns, which they don't have, if they had guns, you know, guns were sent and other people took those guns. If they had guns, they would fight back. I'm convinced of that. But, you know, you can't have an unarmed population against people with AK-47s and stand there, even if you have 250,000 people. So, you know, you started off by asking me, would I like to see them? And I'm very torn on it because they lost 42,000 people in the first 2 weeks. I don't really want to see that. They have to have guns, and I think they're getting some guns. As soon as they have guns, they'll fight like as good as anybody there is. But when you have people that are armed, and, you know, they have very good weapons on the other side. Now, they've been depleted. A lot of the people fighting don't want to fight anymore. They're not getting paid anymore, from what I'm hearing, because we have obliterated them like in the military. We've done the same thing to them financially, economically. We don't think they're paying their soldiers and their guard anymore. So they've got a lot of problems.
That's an interesting comment at the end about pay.
Yeah. He was on the Hugh Hewitt show there. He phoned in on the radio show there. Well, look, the fact that he's bringing this to the table, I think, is a game changer. The question is he opening the door to provide them with guns?
Yeah, I wonder.
It's hard for us to fathom in our thinking that 42,000 people were clearly murdered and mowed down by their government, and their bodies hung from cranes in the city square to intimidate people.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if they have guns, and now that you have a breakdown in the military, and the military isn't getting paid because they haven't got the money, this thing is really, really on the verge. And so we don't know how close it is from total collapse, but it's a bad situation.
I got a question quickly before you go on to your next story. That was the president on the phone was that a podcast or a radio show with Hugh Hewitt?
Radio show.
Was that a prearranged interview? Did the president just call in?
Well, I don't know.
Huh?
I told Polina to get him for me.
I was going to add, that's my next question. How do you get him to call in on Focus today?
Well, I don't know. We need to work on it.
Okay.
I'd like to talk to him.
Just curious.
It'd be fun to talk to him.
Yeah.
You know, that would be interesting.
Oh.
So I've met, let's see, I've met 3 presidents in my life.
Oh,
so
wow. All right.
Is good. My first one was Reagan. Well, of course, I knew President Reagan when he was governor.
Yeah.
So I got to meet him on quite a few occasions. And then George, let's see, Bush Sr.
Oh, yeah. H.W.
H.W.
Yeah.
Met him briefly. Dick Cheney quite a few times.
Oh.
And then George W.
Man.
But I met George W. It was when he was running. Before he was president.
All right.
Then I met him after he was president.
Did you meet him when he flew in here?
Yeah. I was chairman then.
Yeah.
So, but I met after he got elected. We were in New Zealand at a big broadcasters convention, and I get this note that I had to be at the White House like 6 days later. So we flew home from New Zealand, caught a plane, and got to the White House. It was really a fun thing. He invited all the state chairmen in to say thank you.
All right. Oh, I see.
Okay. And it was good. But I'll never forget the first time I met him. After he was president-elect, he was going to take the oath of office like the next day. We're there for the inauguration. And the room opens up and all these dogs come in. And they're sniffing everybody.
Oh, sure. Well, let me ask you this. Did you meet him, or were you together with him at all on the trip where he came in an Air Force One? He stayed over in Jacksonville and they protested around the...
Oh, yeah. Well, that was his second time because he came in for the fire.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
and he was here for the fires. Yeah, that was the second time. No, I didn't. No, that one I didn't.
Okay.
But the one before, when he was in his first term, when he was running, and but he came into the room and he'd gone along, and we had our little signs on that said our state.
Oh, yeah.
So I had my name in the state.
Yeah.
So, and it was just us chairmen and what we call the national committee woman. So there's 3 of us from each state.
Okay.
And he comes up and he puts his thumb in my like.
Really? Yeah.
He goes, let's see if I can get it now.
Okay.
4,100. I think it was 4,187 votes. Are you going to get him for me next time?
Really?
He knew what he lost the state by.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Okay, W, whatever you want, buddy.
At your service.
So anyway, back to the president calling in
Yeah.
the news show. I don't know. Maybe we can get him.
It would be great. Yeah. Okay.
Where'd that go?
I don't know.
In the meantime, the White House continues to defend the president's plan for the Strait of Hormuz. It's called Project Freedom, which is a humanitarian effort to restore shipping through the Strait of Hormuz. I don't know how this is all going to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of people say it's bad and all. I can't even imagine, but I guess I can.
Okay, so I have a question.
People want this thing to fail.
Yeah, why no? You know what? You just said a mouthful right there.
Why do so many people want this to? Why do people want us to fail?
Right, because they hate the president so much that they don't even care if the bad guys win in the meantime.
That's hard to fathom, but it
is right. You know, derangement syndrome.
Well, but they'll come back and say, "Well, we shouldn't have been there in the first place." Well, we're in there.
Yeah. Well.
What are we supposed to cut and run?
Yeah. Well, isolationism is not going to work right now.
Well, in the meantime, this is the mystery of the war right now. How do you open up the straits?
Yeah.
And why haven't they opened up
okay.
the straits?
Yes. Okay. And was that what their line of defense is, that what we saw yesterday, gunboats and drones? Because that's primarily what we were fighting yesterday, because there was a little skirmish going on yesterday.
Yeah.
And I remember I opened up my news app, and the headline was that we were exchanging fire with these, that we had a U.S. naval ship under attack. Mm-hmm. And it sounded like, wow, the Iranians are attacking us, while we were basically kind of cleaning them up. So is that all they have?
That and words.
Okay.
They have some leftover missiles parked around.
Okay. Yeah. Well, on the back of Toyotas.
Everybody thought that maybe they had a secret nuke somewhere. I think they would have used it by now.
I think you're right. Yeah.
So. But look, the last part of this war is really difficult, because what we're trying to get is control of all of the nuclear capabilities, and a lot of that stuff is way underground. And I don't know, it's easy for us to sit here and talk about it, but I'm still amazed that people hate this president so much that they want the United States to fail.
Yeah.
It's amazing to me.
And it's kind of reflected in the Europeans' attitude towards all of this. They want that oil, they need that oil, but they're not going to do anything to help us, to get it.
I think NATO's toast.
I think so, too.
I think NATO never thought it would be on the verge. The president's pulling troops out of Germany. Yep. He's going to pull troops out of France, Spain, who knows where else. In the meantime, you know who's left in the dust in all this? Is Ukraine. Ukraine hasn't been in the news. And poor old Zelensky's up there. He's having a fit because all the attention's in the Middle East and not on him anymore.
That is true. Yes.
Yeah,
we never hear anything going on over there. Yeah.
And the ambassador that I had on yesterday said, we got all eyes are on the Middle East. The real rogue guy out there is North Korea. They're building nukes.
Okay, I'm glad you brought up North Korea.
On a daily basis.
You just fired me up here. Okay. You're talking about Ukraine, and you're talking about North Korea. You talk about a death cult. You see what's going on with North Korean soldiers in Ukraine? Rather than give up, they're committing mass suicides. Well, they say there's over 6,000 North Korean soldiers that have committed suicide, and they're being praised by their leader, Kim Jong-un, whatever his name is. And that is that they're being praised for this.
Well, it's so those are the ones fighting for Russia.
Right, exactly right.
Yeah, it's so the world's confused. Have you read your Bible lately?
Yeah.
We're so far over, but let me plug this anyway.
Okay.
I'm thinking about airing a sermon by Dr. Anthony George. 2 weeks ago, he's pastor of the First Baptist Church in Atlanta. He took Charles Stanley's.
Right.
Well, guess where he preached 2 weeks ago? He preached at Jimmy Swaggart's church.
Oh.
Well, of course, Jimmy Swaggart's in heaven now, but so Donnie took over.
Okay.
And he got up, and I thought, what does a Baptist preach at a Pentecostal church?
Yeah, that's a great question. What did he preach?
What does a hardcore Baptist do at a hardcore Pentecostal?
But you have that message.
And I'm going, So Pagan, we put it up. It was on YouTube. We sat down. We watched the whole thing. It was terrific. He preached on the end times.
Can we get it?
Oh, I'm going to get it.
Okay.
It was one of the best, and it was very current.
Oh.
All the headlines, and he never mentioned a person's name, but you knew exactly what he was talking.
Oh. Okay.
Okay. We're perfect. We'll be right back.
Mom makes everything a little better. This Mother's Day, let her know. At Grange Co-op, we've got beautiful 10-inch hanging baskets for just $29.99. Jumbo annual packs are $5 each when you buy 2 or more, and select denim is 40% off. Plus, join us for our free Paint-A-Pot event Saturday, May 9th from 10 to 2. Find more deals at GrangeCoop.com or just scan the QR code. Grange Co-op, your Mother's Day destination, now through May 10th.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegaterv.com.
When life feels heavy, your body feels it, your mind feels it. That is why I created Organic Elements Wellness Spa, a place where wellness is not a luxury, it's a way of life. Step into our wellness lounge with a Himalayan salt room, infrared sauna, steam room, and invigorating cold plunge. Restore your nervous system, detox your body, and clear your mind. Then experience customized massage, advanced skin therapies, and result-driven facials, all designed to help you look as good as you feel. There's nothing else like this in Southern Oregon. This is your space to heal, to reset, to glow. Call today to book your private wellness party for up to 15 guests or surprise someone special with a gift certificate.
Visit Organic Elements Wellness Spa on East Main Street in Medford. Book online at organicelementspa.com. Wellness is wholeness. Voted best of Southern Oregon.
Ministries on the Move spotlights how God is using everyday people and organizations to bring light, love, and transformation to others through inspiring conversations and real-life stories. Join me Tuesdays and Thursdays right here on theDove TV.
All right, 25 minutes past the hour. Some backyard news, kind of backyard, West Coast news. Los Angeles Democrats now are going to seek to open the door for foreign voting in the city elections. Can you believe this? The Democrats at the Los Angeles City Council are hoping to potentially open the door to foreigners, including illegal aliens, voting in the city's elections. The proposal will be put forward by the City Council to the voters in November on the ballot whether the Los Angeles City Charter should be amended so that the council could discuss plans to allow foreign nationals to vote in their city elections.
At least Democrats are saying it out loud.
That's it, out loud.
Out loud.
So I don't know if the citizens in that area will wake up and say, this is absolutely nonsense.
Yep.
We'll have to wait and see, but
Yep.
You never know. In the meantime, Steve Hilton is looking really good to become the next governor.
Oh, boy.
So we'll see what happens.
Yes.
All right, I have in my hand here, ladies and gentlemen, called a ballot.
I got mine.
There it is.
Yeah.
It's in the mail. I brought it in this morning, so you open it up like that, and there's a little envelope in there that you'll have to sign the back of it.
Right.
Don't forget to sign.
Yeah.
Then there's your ballot.
Don't let your spouse sign that, by the way.
No.
They'll send it back.
And there it is. And there's all the people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let's see who you checked here.
Well,
Oh, wow.
let's see.
Really?
So I have, a Republican ballot.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so you can get it done. But on the back, I can't say this on the back. There are two measures. And let me just, people have already, what are you going to do with Measure 20? I don't mind telling you.
Okay.
Vote no. This is the $4.3 billion tax.
That's an easy
we
one.
We don't want it.
Say no.
That's the one. The other one is more of a Rogue Valley Transportation District thing, and you have to look at that's local.
I got a question for you. We see a mass migration towards the independent status these days. Republicans and Democrats are ditching their party and becoming independents. What does an independent ballot look like?
Well, and they may have independent candidates for those various offices.
Oh, really? Okay. All right.
And so you can mark the ones that you think is going to go anywhere. But at the end of the day, I don't think that that they're going to. I shouldn't say that. I mean, there is a lot of independents out there, but I don't know where those candidates, how they move forward.
Right.
Now, you may not get any of the well, you could get some of the judges. These are nonpartisan offices.
Okay.
All the nonpartisan offices you'll get. Partisan county offices, like we have 2 positions for our county commissioners here. Both these people are great. They should be reelected, in my opinion.
Okay.
Okay. I won't mention their names.
Okay.
They're the only 2 on the ballot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So then, so you have to look at that seriously. But folks, come on.
Yeah.
Fill this out.
Yep.
And get it in.
Do it.
Okay, and by the way, just to let you know, we have the voters' guides here. Now, we only have a few. This is probably one of the best ones, if not the best one out there. It's put out by the Oregon Family Council. And you can go online to the Oregon Family Council, and you can look at it there. Okay. We have a few here. You can come by and get one. First come, first serve. It takes every person, every race, everything in the state and puts it into one voter's guide, and then tells you the questions across the top, how they believe in certain areas. This is a no-brainer.
Oh, this is good.
You take that and the voter pamphlet, and you shouldn't be a non-informed voter.
Right.
There's no reason. You got everything here to be smart.
Yeah. Right. And if you have any doubt, his phone number is
No!
All right. Are you going to do?
Already,
let me ask you.
I probably had 30 yesterday.
I bet you did.
Don't, please, friends, don't get upset with me. I'm not going to answer that.
Okay.
I'm just not going to do it.
Can you address it in general terms to satisfy and quench people's thirst to know through a segment and focus today? Can you kind of loosely go down? Are you going to do it?
Yes.
Okay.
I will do. But look, you think I'm a one-issue candidate, but I have to tell you, but if a person is pro-choice, I can't even think about recommending them for anything.
Right.
Because if you don't have the value of human life, which is God's greatest creation, we're the only thing, if I can put it that way, that was made in His creation, and you think it's disposable, have a nice day.
Yep.
That means, to me, you're morally flawed.
Right.
Okay, that got me nowhere.
I like it.
Weather-wise, we're okay.
Yeah, okay, moving on. All right. So how does the U.S.-Iranian conflict stand right now? We're kind of in the dark. Yeah, we're in a ceasefire, yet they're still firing.
We're firing it.
Yeah, what's a ceasefire? Oh, man. Okay, well, with that in mind, retired Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg evaluates where the U.S.-Iran conflict stands and how much longer the regime can hold out, and he did this on Hannity.
We're going through sequencing right now, and I'm one of those guys, and I've said it on your program as well, that I think we need to go further. There's 3 things I think we should do. Number 1 is I do believe there are strategic targets we can take by land. We don't have to go downtown Tehran, but we can take those and just eliminate their ability economically to continue to operate. Karg Island, the islands in the Strait of Hormuz as well. And also, I'd say go after the Revolutionary Guards. You know, what they're going through is what they call the mosaic defense. And what they've done is they de-aggregated, and they've split apart all their Revolutionary Guards to 31 different districts. Why is that important? Because you want to keep attacking the Revolutionary Guards. Why? Because they control the Basij. What's the Basij do? They're the paramilitary group that keeps the population under control. So you break that command and control link you've got with them. And the third is on negotiations. I would say we're not going to negotiate. We're done. We're just going to keep going to this till we finish it. You may apply maximum pressure to it, and you make sure that they pay a price that they cannot handle. Basically, you reach on command and control, you get to a position where their command and control is already fractured even more.
General, are you talking about, when you mention Karg Island, are you talking about taking it, or are you talking about bombing it out?
No, I'm talking about taking it, Sean. I'm saying let's just take some things that they cannot give back. We become the arbiter. We become the global oil power. And the president actually said this earlier on a Guardian magazine over two decades ago, where he said we're going to take the oil. He talked about that when we were in Iraq. Let's take their oil. We now control it. We don't just depend on a blockade, but we add to the blockade. It's sort of blockade plus. And you want to do that plus the military operations. Look, I don't think an air campaign by itself will do much. I was in the first Gulf War. We watched an air campaign go on for 38 days. And finally, we had to cross the berm, go across, get up to the Euphrates River. And finally, when we put troops on the ground and put the regime at risk, they said, okay, we're done, we're finished, we'll come to the negotiation table. We didn't ask them to do it. We just sort of, this is what we're going to do. And they came to us. And I think that's where we want to go. These guys are thugs. And we have to believe that. And they're not going to be true to their word. I don't trust them at all. And as long as you've got a theocratic government in charge, a religious government in charge, then we're going to continue to have problems. The president has been brilliant in what he has done. Let's just add to it.
Okay, so what's going on here is he said something there that's, to me, it's key. The president all along has invited NATO nations to come in and help with the Straits, and they've refused. It's your war, you play with it.
Yeah.
So when we take control of the Straits and we own now the oil flow to the world, do we put a surcharge on that going, or a tariff on oil going to the NATO nations?
Whoa, what a question. My goodness.
And I don't think the president really wants us to control the Straits, but we may end up controlling the Straits.
Yeah, that may be the case.
And I don't know if there's becoming any other option at the moment. So, anyway, so much for that. It is Cinco de Mayo, and if I was to have the perfect breakfast burrito,
what would it be?
Eggs and bacon.
Okay.
And a little hot sauce.
I'll take some chipotle on it.
Well, you like, I don't know, that flavor doesn't do me.
Okay. Well, I'll take yours then.
You can have it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Happy Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll be.
All right.
We're going to Cinco right out of here.
The Southern Oregon Repertory Singers bring two stunning world premieres to the SOU Music Recital Hall, May 9th and 10th. Featuring more than 70 choral voices, orchestra, and internationally renowned baritone Christopherin Nomura, this concert is the grand finale of their 40th season. Experience the power and excitement of new musical journeys with the Southern Oregon Repertory Singers. For tickets, visit repsingers.org. That's repsingers.org.
Stewardship begins with the knowledge that nothing belongs to us, but everything belongs to the Lord. This helps us to run a business not in the fear of lack, but in the assurance of His care and provision. Such a perspective eliminates the drive to sell and replaces it with a heart that says serve. This begins with serving our clients and coworkers with integrity and genuine care. That's why at Kelly's, it's automotive service with a heart for God, and treating others as we ourselves would want to be treated. Our promise is to never sell our clients anything we don't believe they need. Another is to do all we can to meet other needs, such as shuttle service and loaner cars, or taking the time to really listen, even at times praying with our customers. Sometimes this means sacrifice, going above and beyond. But that's why I work for Kelly's Automotive Service, honoring God while serving people with honesty and integrity.
The Dove TV is pleased to announce we're now seen in the San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose area via a new full-power TV station, KEDB, seen on cable, satellite TV, and over the air. The Dove TV, encouraging and informative for San Francisco, Oakland, and the San Jose area on new full-power KEDB TV.
All right, welcome back. 24 minutes before the hour. We've had a little bit of change in schedule, and this is perfect because it's right up to date. We're going to go to CBN News, and they have the latest on Iran, who is now fired on warship and cargo vessels. So let's check in with our friends at CBN News and Chris Mitchell.
Iran took aggressive action Monday, launching missiles, drones, and small boats at U.S. warships and cargo vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. U.S. CENTCOM Commander Brad Cooper says the U.S. returned fire, sinking 6 small Iranian gunboats targeting the civilian ships.
The cruise missiles were going after both U.S. Navy ships, but mostly after commercial shipping. We defended both ourselves, and consistent with our commitment, we defended all the commercial ships.
Trouble started after President Trump announced the U.S. will aid some of the cargo ships and tankers stranded outside the strait, posting on Truth Social, "We will guide their ships safely out of these restricted waterways so that they can freely and ably get on with their business." The U.S. said it safely guided 2 U.S.-flagged ships through the strait. Iran is demanding all shipping go through them and claims it fired warning shots, releasing a video of the attack. In a post on X, the Iranian minister warned Project Freedom is Project Deadlock. Iran also fired missiles at the UAE on Monday in the worst violation of the ceasefire yet. The UAE's foreign ministry strongly condemned the attack as renewed Iranian aggression using missiles and drones, targeting civilian sites and representing a dangerous escalation. The UAE Defense Ministry said it engaged 15 missiles and 4 drones. 1 drone hit, starting a fire at a key oil facility. Israel's Iron Dome anti-missile system shot down one of the Iranian missiles. Israel sent a battery and soldiers to the UAE at the beginning of the war, Axios reported. An Iranian spokesman said on Monday talks with the U.S. are focusing entirely on ending the war, and uranium enrichment and other nuclear materials are not on the table. President Trump told a group of business leaders the 6-week war is different from the long wars of America's past.
Our country's booming now, despite the fact that we're in I call it a mini war, because that's all they are.
He said America had to take a detour into the current war. He also said the country is doing record business and Iran's military is degraded.
They have no Navy, they have no Air Force, they have no anti-aircraft equipment, they have no radar, they have no nothing. They have no leaders, actually. The leaders happen to be gone also. But can't let them have a nuclear weapon, or you'd have problems like nobody would believe.
Meanwhile, Israel says it's on high alert, ready for a full-blown resumption of hostilities after Trump warned that Iran would be blown off the face of the earth if it hits U.S. ships. Julie Stahl, CBN News, Jerusalem.
And our CBN News Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell is joining us now from Jerusalem to continue our coverage. So, Chris, you just returned from the States. What did you find to be the biggest objection to the war?
Well, Ephraim, the biggest objection I heard was the price of gas. In fact, it was the main topic of conversation in many times, and going by different gas stations, determining which is higher, which is lower. Certainly a very big issue. Before the war, the average price of gas was just around $3 a gallon. Now, nationwide, it's over $4 a gallon, maybe between $4.20 and $4.40. And so for a typical family, this could mean like more than $200 a month to drive to work, take the kids to school, and live their lives. So that's paying at the pump. And so that was one of the main issues that I heard during my time in the States was the price of gas. And also making that connection that this is all because of the war there in the Middle East and against Iran.
How is the war changing the global energy situation?
Dramatically, Ephraim. First of all, it could, and right now there's certainly a lot of conflict going on in the Strait of Hormuz, but it could remove Iran's threat over the Strait of Hormuz, and it's been threatening that for many years. One other development, a major development, is that OPEC is no longer the dominant player in the global market, and this war has been weakening its grip significantly. The UAE has withdrawn from the OPEC, and so that no longer limits their production, and it no longer gives the OPEC the ability to manipulate the price of gas, the crude, by lowering production. And so also, there's been alternative shipping routes and pipelines either in the works or are also planning on that. And so in the long term, removing the Strait of Hormuz is a threat. And the goal for many is that they'll never be held hostage by a single region again. Also in the energy market, the U.S. is becoming the dominant energy power in the world. And so eventually, many people believe, and certainly U.S. Secretary of State Scott Bessent believes, this is eventually going to lower prices and bring a more stable energy market to the globe. And so all of this, Ephraim, could be a potential historic realigning of the global energy market.
Well, I think so. I mean, whoever thought OPEC and NATO.
Yeah.
And what is the significance of OPEC, NATO, and the UN these days?
Very little. Very little, yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Let's take a look at the weather. Amazing guy does it here.
A look at our forecast from Grange Co-op. Today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, mostly sunny with daytime highs near 77 or 78 for Vancouver, Portland, and Wilsonville. Patchy morning fog in McMinnville, then sunny with a high near 76. Moving down the Willamette Valley, mostly sunny with highs in the mid-70s for Salem and Albany. Patchy fog, then sunny and 74 in Corvallis, and mostly cloudy, gradually becoming sunny near 75 in Eugene. Sunny and nice today across central Oregon with daytime high temperatures in the upper 70s in Prineville and mid-70s for Bend and Sun River. Also sunny skies in Boise, Idaho with a high near 79. Along the Oregon coast, decreasing clouds becoming sunny in mid-60s in Coos Bay, partly sunny in upper 50s to near 60 in Port Orford and Brookings, and patchy fog, then partly sunny and 60 in Crescent City, California. In southern Oregon, temperatures move up today under sunny skies with highs in the low 80s for Grants Pass and Medford and near 77 in Ashland. The Klamath Basin will see sunshine as well with highs in the mid-70s. Into northern California, sunny in upper 70s around Wairika. Mostly cloudy, gradually becoming sunny in low to mid-70s for Redding and Chico. Patchy fog over in Fort Bragg, then partly sunny in upper 50s. In the Bay Area, patchy fog, then partly sunny in upper 60s for Santa Rosa and Napa. A slight chance of showers in San Francisco, then mostly sunny in mid-60s. And patchy fog in San Jose, then partly sunny in near 67. For Central California, partly sunny in Sacramento, Stockton, and Fresno with highs in the upper 60s to near 70. A chance of rain, then partly sunny in Visalia and Bakersfield with highs in the upper 60s to low 70s. It's your Tuesday weather from Grange Co-op.
We look back as we stay in the present because we are celebrating Cinco de Mayo today. Yeah. And many think that it is a celebration of Mexican independence, but it's not.
No.
On May 5th, 1862, in the city of Puebla, an outnumbered Mexican army pulled off a stunning upset. Facing nearly 6,000 well-equipped French troops, Mexico, led by General Ignacio Zaragoza, had only a few thousand soldiers, mainly poorly supplied. The French expected a quick victory, but after hours of fierce fighting, something unexpected happened. They lost. The French army retreated, handed a rare defeat by a determined Mexican force. At the time, Mexico's president, Benito Juarez, was fighting to keep the nation together amid foreign pressure and invasion. While the victory didn't end the war, it became a powerful symbol of resistance and national pride. And here's something many people don't realize. Cinco de Mayo is actually a relatively minor holiday in Mexico, celebrated mainly in the state of Puebla. But in the United States, it's grown into a much larger celebration of Mexican culture and heritage, all inspired by one unlikely victory. Happy Cinco de Mayo.
Happy Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah.
So it's not that celebrated in Mexico.
In Puebla a little bit, yeah.
Here it's just like a big thing.
Yeah, and we kind of think that it is an Independence Day, celebration, like our 4th of July, but no.
No. Okay, well, we'll take a independent Cinco de Mayo break.
Okay.
For the burrito.
Hi, I'm the SOS Alarm Guy, here to tell you about a great deal. SOS Alarm will not only beat any internet deal, but will install the system too. So burglars, beware. SOS Alarm for security and beyond.
At Sweet Tea Express, we've got you covered. Order at the counter and our friendly service staff will do the rest. Breakfast served daily until 2 p.m. Breakfast burritos, biscuits and gravy, skillets, omelets, and more. Sweet Tea Express. Don't get caught hungry.
The threat of wildfire poses a growing risk to Oregonians. You can prepare now by taking 3 important steps. Create a home inventory, make copies of important financial records, and contact your insurance company to make sure you have the right amounts and types of home insurance coverage. Be wildfire ready by being insurance ready. Visit dfr.oregon.gov/prepare now to learn how.
Jerry's Historical Archives. Moments to remember. Go back in time. Back in the day. TV shows of the past. Relive the past and learn something new. Open up Jerry's Historical Archives. Weekdays only on Mornings on the Dove. Have you seen Mornings on the Dove?
Something has happened to our country here where we're glorifying assassinations and killings and killing babies, and we're glorifying taking God's creation and turning it upside down and throwing it on its head, where a boy can become a girl and a girl become a boy. I mean, the whole thing. At what point are you going to wake up and realize that we are fighting something that's spiritual?
News with a little bit of common sense. Mornings on the Dove, weekdays 6 to 8 a.m.
All right, 12 minutes before the hour. This is an interesting story. Yesterday I had Brent Dusing on. He's an interesting guy. He's CEO of TruePlay. Now, TruePlay is a faith-based app to counter all the other apps that are out there that kids are being pulled away from. And Google banned it. Google decided they weren't going to allow the app to be on their platform, primarily because everything they do is in a cartoon kind of mode, but they had this cartoon drawing, so to speak, of Christ on the cross, and they said it was harmful.
Really?
And right next to it is a devilish, what do they call the little, not a pentagram, what do you call it? Anyway, with blood all over it and everything else, now that's acceptable.
Really?
So here's Brent talking about the irony and the contradiction of the two and why Google banned their app.
TruePlay is a fun, really groundbreaking entertainment application for kids, video games, digital comics, videos. Google rejected our app update because it says, I'll actually read from this directly. We got an email from Google saying, your app contains violent content which is inappropriate for the intended audience of your app. And so, and then when you show the offending image, I don't know if you can see this on, you can barely see this, but it's a cartoon image of Jesus on the cross. So we partner with the Action Bible. Many of you might know the Action Bible.
Right.
We have a picture of Jesus on the cross in a cartoon, and it says that content is too violent for children. It says, if your app is not catered towards children between 0 to 12, you may want to reconsider your target audience when filling out the target audience and content section in your Play console. Now let's look at what Google does allow. You might be able to see this. It's hard to see, but they allow ads on Roblox with literally pentagrams drawn in blood, dismembered bodies with blood all over the floor. They allow a game called Diablo to advertise, as you can see right here.
Yeah.
Which is, of course, where Satan's the main character. So what Google's actually doing is preventing our app for kids from showing a picture of Jesus on the cross. It doesn't want kids to see that, but it's okay with kids seeing a pentagram with blood on the wall, blood all over the floor, dismembered bodies, games advertising literally about satanic characters. So what Google's basically telling you is they don't want your kid to go to church, because every church I've ever been to has a cross, and Catholic churches, as well as some others, actually have Jesus on the cross at those churches. So Google's really telling you that it's not appropriate for your kids to go to church. That's how dark, that's how evil Google has gotten.
So what do you do with this? I
have no idea.
So, I mean, this we've been a victim of those kind of biases when it was YouTube.
Yeah.
And so the only thing I can say is that, and then we went on to talk about AI, young people adding AI to the equation. Folks, I think you need to understand something about AI. It is a group of programmers with their own biases. You are literally talking to a machine. that's been pre-programmed by people who have a bias.
Right.
And their bias is, for the most part, not your convictions.
Exactly. And it's no different than basic computer programming, which is garbage
it's a
in.
supercomputer that you're talking to. And don't get me wrong, it's got some really great benefits to it.
Yeah.
But when it comes to anything in the way of social, well, I would say social content, you run the risk of getting these biases. So when you add a bias from AI to a Google who's trying to control speech, I mean, that's all this is.
Yeah.
It's what they call, talk police.
Yeah.
You get this kind of stuff.
Well,
so
it's garbage in, garbage out.
So you need to understand something, and I say it respectfully. I'm not trying to be overdone here. But if you are a loving parent, and I know you are, get your kids off of TikTok.
Yeah. Yes.
It's the worst of the worst. Yep. And it's designed to make your kids addicted to it.
And one of the ways they get you too is interesting. I saw something pop up on Facebook yesterday, and I thought, oh, here's a little video. I got my interest. I want to see this. So I hit it, and it wouldn't play it for me unless I downloaded the TikTok app.
See?
Like, yeah, I'm not watching this then. Forget it.
Forget it. You don't need it.
Yes.
You don't need it.
All right.
Okay, well, let's see. Oh, I have a very interesting guy. You ever heard of the name of Jay Collins?
Jay Collins? No.
Jay Collins is currently the lieutenant governor of Florida. He just happens to be running for the governor of Florida, but we'll be talking about the state of morale and armed forces and things like that. So Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins will be with me coming up in a little bit.
Okay. Hey, have you ever seen the reality series The Curse of Oak Island? It's a story about this island in Nova Scotia over back on the East Coast, and apparently it's got buried treasure on it. For over 200 years, people have been trying this. It's owned by a family, and they're trying to find the buried treasure out of it.
Yeah.
Well, the current family has found a way to cash in on it, even though they have not found the buried treasure, because they have a reality program where they're looking for the buried treasure.
Then they find the treasure.
No, they don't. They never find it, but the residuals keep coming in for the program. But go ahead.
It's called capitalism.
It is capitalism. That's right. That's the treasure, and they're uncovering it.
Right.
But they do tours of the island, and it's interesting. Got a lot of interest. Well, an ordinary tour on this island turned into a life-saving moment for one man on Oak Island. Charles Barkhouse, known from the hit TV reality series The Curse of Oak Island, had just finished leading a group tour of the island when a visitor approached him, not with a question, but a concern. She told him she was a doctor and asked to examine his neck. Moments later, she gave him a warning he couldn't ignore. Call your doctor immediately, and he did. Tests revealed a rare and aggressive cancer one doctor say could have been fatal if left untreated. Barkhouse underwent surgery with more than 20 cancerous lymph nodes removed. Today he's recovering and thinking about the woman he never got the chance to thank. He calls her his guardian angel, a stranger in the right place at exactly the right time, a reminder sometimes one small moment can save a life.
Wow.
Yeah. She's on the tour, and she noticed that his neck looked a little bit abnormal. So she said, let me check your neck out.
Wow.
Yes. Saved his life.
Good for her.
The mystery of Oak Island continues.
The mystery of Oak Island.
Yeah.
So will they ever find the treasure?
Heck no.
All right, good morning to you. Take with you, one of my favorite books in the Bible, Colossians 3:15. And let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, to which indeed you were called in one body. And be thankful. Be thankful today. Buy somebody a taco.
Okay.
Or a breakfast burrito.
Okay. I like it.
You died. You said in 3 days you would rise. You did. You're alive.
To all our moms of all ages, a very happy Mother's Day from the Dove TV.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegateRV.com.
Being in business is challenging. At Network in Action Southern Oregon, we're all about real connection and real growth. We value your time with once-a-month meetings and believe in transformational relationships rather than transactional ones. We have 3 groups in the Valley, a Christian group, a Medford group, and a Grants Pass group, all filled with amazing local professionals. Network in Action Southern Oregon, so much more than just networking. Find out more at sonetworking.com.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary, sunlit interiors meet old-world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian-owned and operated, pet-friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site, in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare, where your loved one can spend the day with us and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living. Your home.
Once again, our very own Dove TV was recognized for excellence by the National Religious Broadcasters with the prestigious Station of the Year Award for 2026.
And this year's recipient of TV Station of the Year Award is Dove TV.
This makes 9 times the Dove has been honored by our peers with this celebrated national award. We're grateful, and another reason to stay encouraged and informed by watching and supporting the Dove TV. To all our mothers of all ages, a happy Mother's Day from the Dove TV, encouraging and informative. You're tuned to the Dove, encouraging and informative, helping Oregon, Northern California, Idaho, and Nevada start the day with news and encouragement. This is Mornings on the Dove.
Well, good morning to you. Welcome to Mornings on the Dove, right here. And it is da-da-da-da, Cinco de Mayo.
This is great.
Look at this.
Yes. Love it.
All right. Did those guys ever really learn how to play the trumpet?
A lot of staccato notes in that music. Staccato.
Well, there you go. All right. Well, anyway, Cinco de Mayo. We'll explain that. Really, it's real term coming up.
Yes.
But it's an excuse to have a breakfast burrito and a bunch of tacos.
Hey, let's celebrate.
By the way, it's Taco Tuesday.
Oh,
yeah, it is.
How more perfect
So you
could
got
this
Taco
be?
Tuesday on Cinco de Mayo.
Well, wait a minute. Have we ordered yet?
Well, I don't know. I may have to,
Maybe we're doing that right
I may
now.
have a weak moment and go get those $2
Yeah, the street tacos.
Yeah, the street tacos over
Okay.
there. All right. Anyway, good morning to you. A lot going on in the news. There always is. We'll have that for you. And let's see here. What else we got going on? Nice weather.
Oh, gosh,
We'll
yes.
talk about that coming up.
Oh,
What do you
sleeping
got?
with the windows open?
I did last night.
Yes.
It was really nice.
I just heard from my wife. She goes, "Oh, I slept so well with that window open."
I know.
Oh, yes. It's wonderful. Okay. Appreciate your teachers. Today is National Teacher Appreciation Day.
Do we still bring them apples?
Oh, boy, there's a great question. Yeah. Oh, I don't know. That was quite a tradition for a long
It
time.
was. You brought your teacher an apple.
Yeah.
And if you're really going for points because you failed your test, you brought him a caramel apple.
Yeah, teachers, you are appreciated. I hope you're getting apples.
There you go.
It's also National Foster Care Day, and our hats off to those who are involved in the foster care programs, taking care of kids who in need. And we're a little concerned in some states, especially Oregon, because our foster care program and our adoption program has gone a little bit south.
It has. It's become extremely biased, and if you are a person of faith or a family of faith, you're going to be scrutinized and most likely disqualified.
Right, and of course it has to do with pronouns, gender affirmation care, and all the other garbage that's going on in our culture that for some reason governments thinks they're involved in.
Yeah.
And but anyway, it's excluding a lot of really great people from helping kids and fostering kids and adopting kids. And as I've mentioned, we have friends who have actually left the state because they wanted to adopt and they couldn't because of their Christian faith. Imagine that. Anyway, it's also National Cartoonists Day. Is there a favorite cartoonist of yours?
Cartoonist or cartoon?
Cartoon. Well, cartoon. Well, one goes with the other, doesn't it?
Yeah,
like Charles Schultz.
Charles Schultz.
Peanuts.
Peanuts.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Like Disney, I probably like Daffy Duck.
Okay.
Bugs Bunny.
Yes.
On the Warner Brothers side, I like Yosemite Sam.
Yes.
The Roadrunner.
Oh yes.
Some of those guys.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I love the Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote.
Oh yeah.
How many times can you try kill that that Roadrunner and die yourself and then get up and do it again? It's an unusual thing, but I enjoy it. It's also National Hoagie Day.
Hoagie Day.
With National Chipotle Day. So, and it's perfect for Cinco de Mayo. Take some chipotle, smoke-dried jalapeno peppers, and put it on your hoagie. Whoa. Yes, it's called many names. Obviously, Hero. Yeah, the Sub, the Grinder, the Italian, Torpedo, Baguette. Many names for this particular sandwich. Just take a Italian bread or French bread, cut it lengthwise, fill it up with meats and vegetables and lettuce and peppers and chipotles. Make it something special for on this Cinco de Mayo. And then finally, it is National Astronaut Day. And space program's going strong these days. But did you know that way back to Apollo 11, 1969, those astronauts had no insurance. So they signed photos of themselves for their families to sell in case of a fatal mission. Whoa! What an insurance policy. How about that? Yes. The word astronaut.
So they could sell them and make money.
Absolutely. Wow. Yes. The word astronaut comes from the Greek astronautis, meaning star sailor. And all U.S. astronauts going to the International Space Station have to learn Russian.
Wow.
So they can operate the ISS sections that are led by Russian language manuals. Can you imagine that? And there are a lot of sections in the, or one section in particular in the International Space Station, that's the Russian section.
Oh.
And I hear that it's constructed a little bit more ad hoc than the others. A lot of baling wire and duct tape. Yes.
Low budget.
Low budget. So it is National Astronauts Day. I love this footage where we're in the space station right now. They're doing some maintenance on the outside.
Can you imagine floating around up there?
I can't even. Yeah,
And how fast are they going?
17,000 and change.
Okay. Around, and yet they're floating.
And yeah, they're just falling. They're falling along the curvature of the Earth, 17,000 miles an hour.
Wow.
That's plus. So yeah, it's cool. It's fun to watch.
All right, so here's Pam's little Siete Uno grinder.
A look at our forecast from Grange Co-op. Today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, mostly sunny with daytime highs near 77 or 78 for Vancouver, Portland, and Wilsonville. Patchy morning fog in McMinnville, then sunny with a high near 76. Moving down the Willamette Valley, mostly sunny with highs in the mid-70s for Salem and Albany. Patchy fog, then sunny and 74 in Corvallis, and mostly cloudy, gradually becoming sunny near 75 in Eugene. Sunny and nice today across central Oregon with daytime high temperatures in the upper 70s in Prineville and mid-70s for Bend and Sun River. Also sunny skies in Boise, Idaho with a high near 79. Along the Oregon coast, decreasing clouds becoming sunny in mid-60s in Coos Bay, partly sunny in upper 50s to near 60 in Port Orford and Brookings, and patchy fog, then partly sunny and 60 in Crescent City, California. In southern Oregon, temperatures move up today under sunny skies with highs in the low 80s for Grants Pass and Medford and near 77 in Ashland. The Klamath Basin will see sunshine as well with highs in the mid-70s. Into northern California, sunny in upper 70s around Wairika. Mostly cloudy, gradually becoming sunny in low to mid-70s for Redding and Chico. Patchy fog over in Fort Bragg, then partly sunny in upper 50s. In the Bay Area, patchy fog, then partly sunny in upper 60s for Santa Rosa and Napa. A slight chance of showers in San Francisco, then mostly sunny in mid-60s. And patchy fog in San Jose, then partly sunny in near 67. For Central California, partly sunny in Sacramento, Stockton, and Fresno with highs in the upper 60s to near 70. A chance of rain, then partly sunny in Visalia and Bakersfield with highs in the upper 60s to low 70s. It's your Tuesday weather from Grange Co-op.
Beautiful shot of our Rogue Valley, but we do have some clouds out there floating around a little bit this morning. Mm-hmm. It'll give way to those warmer temperatures a little bit later on.
Yeah, it even smelled a little bit like marine air this morning.
Yeah,
it was interesting.
Air.
Yeah.
Never did see a ship go by.
No, headed to the Straits. Anyway, well, this is interesting. What if forgiveness feels impossible right now? Well, here is Bayless Connolly with some encouragement.
Hey, if your brother sins against you 7 times in a day and comes to you 7 times, says, I repent, you need to forgive him. And the disciples' response was, Lord, increase our faith. Sometimes it's a faith venture, and it was for me then. I just had to say, Lord, I've forgiven him. The emotions would sweep over me, and anger would just sweep over me. And I go, no, I've released that. Father, it's in your hands. I give no place in my heart for bitterness or animosity or unforgiveness. Man, I had to do that almost every day for quite a while. But eventually, my soul grew quiet to where there was not the slightest, hinge of negative feelings at all. And he said this in verse 10, that our love would abound in knowledge and discernment, that we might approve the things that are excellent, and that we might be sincere and without offense until the day of Christ.
Good stuff. Mm-hmm. Well, a lot to be talked about in forgiveness when it's hard to forgive and you've been hurt deeply. I will say that a lot of pastors that leave the ministry quit and leave or over this issue because they've been thrown under the bus, and yet they had to internalize it and not get it out. Yeah. But forgiveness does not mean reconciliation. Okay, so forgiveness is, like he said there, Bayless is basically saying the cleansing of your own heart, mind, and soul, that stays clean before the Lord so that you can take communion with a clean heart.
Right. Yes.
All right, good morning to you. Let's take a look at some of the top stories out there on this Cinco de Mayo Taco Tuesday. Let's see here. The war in the Middle East. Well, some of the latest development. U.S. forces destroyed 6 of those Iranian boats.
Wow.
And shot down some missiles and drones fired at U.S. Navy and commercial vessels the last 24 hours. Now, remember, folks, we're under a ceasefire. And they're lobbing missiles and shooting things.
Back and forth, yeah.
So our Apache helicopters and Seahawk helicopters are going out over those little small boats that are kind of like fast speedboats,
Right, kind of like the drug runners coming from South America.
There you go.
Yeah.
Anyway, they're taking them out. And the United Arab Emirates has been now receiving some more missiles targeted from Iran. So Iran continues to fire at their neighbors. And the UAE is saying now we will do what it takes to defend ourselves. So this is not going well for Iran. I don't know why they're lobbing missiles over to their neighbors, but this is going to backfire on them. Yeah. And UAE is saying we have the right to respond. Now, in the meantime, this story broke yesterday. This is President Trump calling into the Hugh Hewitt radio talk show. And he's quite a guy. I've met him on a couple of occasions. And anyway, the president calls in, and they're talking about the citizens. Now, as you know, Iran murdered 41,000 of their citizens since this war has broke out. And these are the protesters protesting it. And we all know that the citizens really want freedom. They want life there. Yeah. And the president said, well, we need to get them some guns. And I go, what? Whoa, this is a game changer. So here's the president calling in to Hugh's radio talk show.
If you have 5 people with a gun and 250,000, the 5 people with a gun, assuming it shoots fast enough, which they do, the 5 people, they're going to win. they don't have weapons. They lost 42,000 to be exact, 42,000 people in about a 2-week protesters, innocent, unarmed protesters. You know, they killed the wrestler. He's actually a world-class wrestler.
Yep.
They killed him and his 2 friends. They hung him from a crane in the square.
Well, they're lunatics.
So we're not dealing with, you know, your typical people. Despite all of that, we've obliterated their military. I mean, literally. Now, they may have built up a little bit over the one bad thing about a ceasefire is you can build up a little bit. We'll knock that out. We know everything they've done. We'll knock that out in the first. Look, if they had guns, which they don't have, if they had guns, you know, guns were sent and other people took those guns. If they had guns, they would fight back. I'm convinced of that. But, you know, you can't have an unarmed population against people with AK-47s and stand there, even if you have 250,000 people. So, you know, you started off by asking me, would I like to see them? And I'm very torn on it because they lost 42,000 people in the first 2 weeks. I don't really want to see that. They have to have guns, and I think they're getting some guns. As soon as they have guns, they'll fight like as good as anybody there is. But when you have people that are armed, and, you know, they have very good weapons on the other side. Now, they've been depleted. A lot of the people fighting don't want to fight anymore. They're not getting paid anymore, from what I'm hearing, because we have obliterated them like in the military. We've done the same thing to them financially, economically. We don't think they're paying their soldiers and their guard anymore. So they've got a lot of problems.
Well, they do. We'll see how this plays out. But if they arm the citizenry, that is a game changer.
Yes.
That's a big
Oh,
game
my
changer.
goodness.
So we'll see where this goes. In the meantime, the White House continues to defend the president's new project. It's called Project Freedom. This is different from Epic Fury. And this one is to really protect ships going and coming in and out of the strait while at the same time blockading the strait. So it's kind of mixed bag. This is continuing to play out. Even Secretary Hagstaff said this morning during the news conference that this is a separate operation and as a humanitarian effort to restore shipping through the Strait of Hormuz, as companies warn that the plan lacks the security guarantee. So some of these oil tankers sitting there, 150 of them kind of backed up in there, are still a little leery about, you know, should we risk coming out?
Yeah.
I think we're heading towards the United States taking full control of the straits.
Could be.
The president has said to NATO, come on and help us. They pretty much thumbed their nose at him. So if the United States takes control of the straits, he control the oil of the world. And guess what's falling? OPEC is falling apart, of all things.
Yeah, that's kind of surprising.
NATO's falling apart. I mean, these are institutions that have been in play for a long time.
Right.
So, anyway, those are some of the top stories on the Cinco de Mayo Taco Tuesday, better known as a breakfast burrito with egg and bacon. We'll be right back.
Mom makes everything a little better. This Mother's Day, let her know. At Grange Co-op, we've got beautiful 10-inch hanging baskets for just $29.99. Jumbo annual packs are $5 each when you buy 2 or more, and select denim is 40% off. Plus, join us for our free Paint-A-Pot event Saturday, May 9th from 10 to 2. Find more deals at GrangeCoop.com or just scan the QR code. Grange Co-op, your Mother's Day destination, now through May 10th.
I'm Susanna, and I contracted KA Designs to do custom cabinets throughout my house. We chose a really beautiful maple wood that really creates like a nice airy space. Everything was custom, and it was really cool because I got to literally see it come to life in person. We love to entertain, and we have a large family, so everything came together perfectly, exactly what I wanted. I highly suggest KA Designs if you're looking to design your dream house. Go check them out in their showroom. You will not be disappointed.
Jerry's Historical Archives. U.S. history. Great moments in time. Record breakers. Our music through the years. Historic leaders. Moments to remember. Go back in time. Back in the day. TV shows of the past. Nostalgia.
It's a wonderful trip down memory lane with fun and interesting stories you might not know about. Relive the past and learn something new.
Open up Jerry's Historical Archives. Weekdays only on Mornings on the Dove.
Hi, good morning to you. 17 minutes past the hour. Some West Coast news. This is interesting. It's no longer hidden. It's right out in the open. The Los Angeles Democrats on the Los Angeles City Council are hoping to potentially open the door for foreigners, including illegal aliens, voting in city elections. They're actually a proposal from one of the council members that putting on the November election ballot where Los Angeles City Charter would be changed and amended so that the council could discuss the plans to allow foreign nationals to elections.
Finally being spoken out loud.
Can you believe this?
Yes, I can absolutely believe it. And it really reminds me of that on the street interview. And there was that young lady from Canada. And she was talking about how terrible it is for voter ID in the United States, going on and on and on and on. And then it was brought to her attention, but by the way, you're from Canada. You have to show your ID to vote, right?
Yeah.
She goes, yeah, no, that's not a problem, though. No, it's not a problem in Canada.
Yeah.
It's the only problem here.
It's just crazy.
What?
It's just crazy.
Yeah.
Let me just ask, I was approached by some loving Democrats that I know.
Loving?
Well, they are. Some are actually nice people.
Okay.
So anyway, I said, are you telling me that a Democrat cannot win with voter ID?
That is a great question.
Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, speaking of which, ladies and gentlemen, right here in my not formerly nicotine stained
That's right. Never nicotine stained fingers.
Is the ballot.
Yeah.
And you probably got yours in the mail. Don't forget it has this little envelope in it. And you need to sign this and sign it so that it's your signature. Don't have somebody else sign it for you. This is the ballot. This is the one for here in our area. And we are a closed primary, so you're either going to get a Republican ballot, a Democratic ballot, or an independent ballot. And it has all the names, and then it has all the nonpartisan positions. And on the back, this is the only one I'm going to say that it's my opinion, so I take full responsibility for telling you or suggesting. No, let me say it this way. I am going to vote no on this Measure 120 because that puts down the $4.3 billion tax bill that the governor's trying to cram down our throat. This will be the ultimate rejection. And there's a high probability now she's going to lose the election. She's losing endorsements from education department and unions. And if this thing goes down, it's going to be one of the biggest. Well, by the way, $4.3 billion was down from the original ask of $15 billion.
Yes.
To fix a $350 million ODOT problem.
Right.
Now, that's government at work for you.
There you go.
But your ballots are out. Take the time. Now, we have these. First come, first serve. The Oregon Family Council primary election voters guide is out. We have a few here. If you're in the local area, you can come by and get one. Or go online to the Oregon Family Council website. This is probably the best one out there. Now, don't get me wrong. We have the voter's guide. You can look at that and read all about that. I have various organizations, Right to Life, and some other. I have a bunch of them here of all of their recommendations and candidates. This is perhaps the most comprehensive one because it has a list of questions that they ask all the candidates to fill out. And if a candidate refused to fill out the questionnaire, it's marked on here.
Is the right to life question on there, the unborn question?
I'm sure that it is. Yeah, it's number one.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Perfect.
So this is all the people in Oregon. I mean, these guys really do it. Look at this thing. I mean, it's like that. There it is. Okay.
All right.
You can come by here. We only have a few. First come, first serve. Or go online to the Oregon Family Council and then take the time to pick this up. Ask the Lord what you should do. Guess what? God's interested in this.
Yes, He is.
He may even tell you something.
He may. Yeah.
Have I made my point?
You have made your point. I have one more question now.
I'm sure you do.
You mentioned open and closed primary. We're a closed primary.
Yeah.
Meaning you will get your party affiliation list of candidates.
Right.
Some places are open open primaries, like California.
Yeah.
Speak into this, because there's a move, I think, now for some states to go towards an open primary. What are the pros, and are there pros and cons on this?
Well, you'll end up messed up like California is. California is an open primary, and what happens now, their primary comes up in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And you got all these Democrats running, and you got all these Republicans running, because it's totally open.
Right.
Okay? And you got to know which ones are which. Okay? And then at the end of the day, and the primary, the two top people who win out of all of those candidates will be the runoff candidates in November.
Okay. And it could technically be two Democrats, or it could be, this time it might be two Republicans.
Well, in California in the past, that's how they controlled the state.
Right.
They just ran all these Democrats up there, and they controlled it, and then they end up getting two Democrats on the
ballot,
in the general election.
Yeah.
So this time it's blowing up in their face because the state is a mess.
Right. Exactly.
It is an absolute mess. Governor Gavin Newsom, everybody thinks he's a fair-haired guy.
Nope.
And he may be on the ballot for the president, but at the moment, if you can believe this, I can't. At the moment, Kamala Harris outpolls him by 1 point.
Yeah, well, it does, no surprise. And did you see Gavin Newsom and Joe Rogan are in a war right now?
Oh gosh.
Oh man. Oh.
Yeah, it'll get nasty.
It will get nasty.
Yeah. It's a blood sport.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yes.
So those are some things going on. Let's take a look at Wall Street for this Taco Tuesday and see how those futures are doing. Thank you, Preston. He's a cool guy. He's got a smart lawn. Hey, the Dow's up 263 points. The Nas jumped up 200 points, and the S&P, which drives everything, is up 48 and almost 49 points this morning. So all three pedals are in the green this morning. That's, I think, because of the war talk. Gold's back up to 45.92. Silver's at 74. And look at this. Now, crude, what happened?
I don't know. Did they have the right number yesterday? Remember, it was like 87 and going down?
I'm embarrassed to answer that question.
I am too.
Okay, that's more reflective.
Yeah, that looks right.
So crude oil's at $111.21.
Well, there's a lot.
So do you buy by the gallon, or do you buy by denominations of $5? How do you buy gas these days?
You know, I used to just put that thing in there and fill it up. And now I'm watching, I'm looking at prices. I'm trying to find who's got the most bio for the least amount of money. And you know what? I have found myself the last couple times not filling up, waiting for prices to go down. But by not filling up, you know what I'm only putting in? I'm only topping up. I'm only putting in $50. Okay. Only. It's like the old days say,
just
gallons? Give me $5.
Well, you know, I did something yesterday. It was kind of crazy. I'm like you. I'm trying to milk it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, I'll get gas. Okay. So and then all of a sudden, the light comes on, and I'm really low. And the place that I always buy gas is clear over here, because I have this little card you get an extra few pennies off. And I'm not going to make it.
Oh, no.
So I had to go into one of these other places.
Yes.
Okay. I bought 2 gallons of gas. 2.
Oh, gosh.
I don't know why I'm hung up on this, but I bought 2 gallons of gas so I can get over to the other place and buy $50 worth of gas.
Did you wonder when you went in why the guys behind the counter are going, yeah, that's the guy right there. That's $2.
You know, I make sure I didn't have the Dove on the side of the car or anything.
Check it out.
Like that.
I saw a YouTube video where a gal was filling up her rig.
Yeah.
And she's talking on YouTube, and she says, yeah, I went inside and I told the guy, put 100 on. And the guy says, well, if it doesn't take a full 100, it'll roll back on your account. She goes, don't worry, it'll take 100.
Well, there's another guy in front of me. So this was about a week ago. He pulls into the gas station in his tractor.
Really? Well, I haven't seen that before.
A great big John Deere,
no kidding,
big old thing.
Okay.
And I know the guy, and I said, how do you like buying these prices? He was like, I'm a farmer. What am I going to do?
Right.
You know. And I think by the time he got out of there, it wiped out his 401k.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we're interested in fuel prices because of what's going on in Iran. We're wondering what's going on in the conflict because it's going to affect our fuel prices. So here's Senator Lindsey Graham, and he discusses what could be next in the conflict, and he did this on Hannity.
It is moral clarity. If you believe the Ayatollah and his henchmen would use a nuclear weapon as part of their religious doctrine, you would be right. If you thought otherwise, you would miscalculate like we did with Hitler. Israel cannot get this wrong. One Holocaust is enough. We know, you know, and I know, if Iran had a nuclear weapon, they would use it in the name of jihad. So Donald Trump is a historic figure, and I know the left doesn't like hearing that. He's the man that did something about Iran's nuclear ambition while every other president allowed them to go basically unchecked. How do you have 900 pounds of highly enriched uranium at 60%? They cheat. How do you have missiles that can go to Europe? They cheat. Well, Donald Trump has decimated the missile program. He's destroyed their nuclear capability, and they have been weakened beyond my imagination in 60 days. The only thing left to do is control the straits, and we can do that. At the end of the day, to our friends in Europe and throughout the world, help us reestablish freedom of navigation. Freedom of navigation is a core principle to the world economy. I am proud of Project Freedom. Project Freedom will work, and people should be helping us. What are we trying to accomplish? To allow ships to go through the Straits of Hormuz to help the world economy. That's not that shouldn't be a hard thing to sign up for. As to President Trump, see this through. These guys are on their back foot, Mr. President. You have been brilliant in concept and execution. Just see it through. We're near the end now. Let's finish this in a way that nobody has to do it again. You're the guy that got it right. Everybody else got it wrong. And the day that Iran is put in a box, that's when Israel and Saudi Arabia will go back to the peace table. The day we control the straits, gas prices will tumble down. The stock market will be steady and growing. And in the fall, we'll be talking about peace, not war. The only reason Saudi Arabia and Israel did not make peace is because of October the 7th. And no longer can Iran, through their proxies, generate another October 7th. Victory is near in Iran. To the American people, President Trump got this right in spite of all the critics. God bless you, President Trump, for stopping what would be a nightmare for this world.
Well, I will say one thing about Senator Lindsey Graham.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, he can get it right.
Boy, did he get it right there.
But there are moments he gets it really wrong. But he can explain a situation right, and that's the case. And I'm just amazed. I really am amazed. It just sounds, it's not political. It's just really a reality. There's two things that amaze me lately. How many, that the Trump derangement syndrome is so real that people don't care if we lose in Iran.
Exactly. They're siding
because he's
with
in charge of it.
Yes, let's
it's
trust.
It's mind-boggling to me on that one. And the other one is the replacement theology that seems to be really growing rapid within Christianity.
Yeah.
Those two things got my brain on tilt.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand it other than after hearing Dr. Anthony George preach his message on end times over the weekend, then you realize that the spiritual component to everything that we're dealing with in headlines today is real. And before you get upset about what side of the fence you're on with an argument, read your Bible.
Yeah.
And if you're not in the Bible on a daily basis, you will go crazy, and you will lose it, and you will become an emotional wreck and an anxiety wreck, and you'll need pills and counseling. Okay.
Oh, no.
Read your Bible. You won't need pills and counseling.
Amen.
Okay.
All right.
So much for all that.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
Your yard is where life happens, but it can be muddy and hard to maintain. Enjoy a maintenance-free artificial turf lawn all year round with Smart Lawn LLC. No mowing, no fertilizing, no watering. Our synthetic grass is beautiful and resilient. It's certified to be lead-free, and there's no need for pesticides. Safe for your children and pets. Smart Lawn LLC has all your artificial turf and putting green areas covered beautifully. 541-941-3538.
The Lennox iComfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Metal Masters can give you the smartest home comfort system available. It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable. Trust Metal Masters to provide perfect air for your family.
Lennox. Air is life. Make it perfect.
If you don't drive it, donate it. By supporting us, you'll get even more mileage out of it.
Thank you from the Dove TV.
Okay, welcome back. And of course, the Middle East is back in the news these days, and Operational Freedom is, Project Freedom is the new one to open up the straits. And even though we're in a ceasefire, things are being fired at.
Yeah.
Okay, so the firing, Iran fired on U.S. warships and cargo vessels in the last 24 hours. And the latest on that just coming in from CBN News. So let's check in with them this morning.
Iran took aggressive action Monday, launching missiles, drones, and small boats at U.S. warships and cargo vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. U.S. CENTCOM Commander Brad Cooper says the U.S. returned fire, sinking 6 small Iranian gunboats targeting the civilian ships.
The cruise missiles were going after both U.S. Navy ships, but mostly after commercial shipping. We defended both ourselves, and consistent with our commitment, we defended all the commercial ships.
Trouble started after President Trump announced the U.S. will aid some of the cargo ships and tankers stranded outside the strait, posting on Truth Social, "We will guide their ships safely out of these restricted waterways so that they can freely and ably get on with their business." The U.S. said it safely guided 2 U.S.-flagged ships through the strait. Iran is demanding all shipping go through them and claims it fired warning shots, releasing a video of the attack. In a post on X, the Iranian minister warned Project Freedom is Project Deadlock. Iran also fired missiles at the UAE on Monday in the worst violation of the ceasefire yet. The UAE's foreign ministry strongly condemned the attack as renewed Iranian aggression using missiles and drones, targeting civilian sites and representing a dangerous escalation. The UAE Defense Ministry said it engaged 15 missiles and 4 drones. 1 drone hit, starting a fire at a key oil facility. Israel's Iron Dome anti-missile system shot down one of the Iranian missiles. Israel sent a battery and soldiers to the UAE at the beginning of the war, Axios reported. An Iranian spokesman said on Monday, talks with the U.S. are focusing entirely on ending the war, and uranium enrichment and other nuclear materials are not on the table. President Trump told a group of business leaders the 6-week war is different from the long wars of America's past.
Our country's booming now, despite the fact that we're in I call it a mini war, because that's all they are.
He said America had to take a detour into the current war. He also said the country is doing record business and Iran's military is degraded.
They have no Navy, they have no Air Force, they have no anti-aircraft equipment, they have no radar, they have no nothing. They have no leaders, actually. The leaders happen to be gone also. But can't let them have a nuclear weapon, or you'd have problems like nobody would believe.
Meanwhile, Israel says it's on high alert, ready for a full-blown resumption of hostilities after Trump warned that Iran would be blown off the face of the earth if it hits U.S. ships. Julie Stahl, CBN News, Jerusalem.
And our CBN News Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell is joining us now from Jerusalem to continue our coverage. So, Chris, you just returned from the States. What did you find to be the biggest objection to the war?
Well, from the biggest objection I heard was the price of gas. In fact, it was the main topic of conversation in many times, and going by different gas stations, determining which is higher, which is lower. Certainly a very big issue. Before the war, the average price of gas was just around $3 a gallon. Now, nationwide, it's over $4 a gallon, maybe between $4.20 and $4.40. And so for a typical family, this could mean like more than $200 a month to drive to work, take the kids to school, and live their lives. So that's pain at the pump. And so that was one of the main issues that I heard during my time in the States was the price of gas, and also making that connection that this is all because of the war there in the Middle East and against Iran.
How is the war changing the global energy situation?
Dramatically, Ephraim. You know, first of all, it could, and right now there's certainly a lot of conflict going on in the Strait of Hormuz, but it could remove Iran's threat over the Strait of Hormuz, and it's been threatening that for many years. One other development, a major development, is that OPEC is no longer the dominant player in the global market, and this war has been weakening its grip significantly. The UAE has withdrawn from the OPEC, and so that no longer limits their production, and it no longer gives the OPEC the ability to manipulate the price of gas, the crude, by lowering production. And so also, you know, there's been alternative shipping routes and pipelines either in the works or also planning on that. And so in the long term, removing the Strait of Hormuz is a threat. And the goal for many is that they'll never be held hostage by a single region again. Also, in the energy market, the U.S. is becoming the dominant energy power in the world. And so eventually, many people believe, and certainly U.S. Secretary of State Scott Bessent believes, this is eventually going to lower prices and bring a more stable energy market to the globe. And so all of this, Ephraim, could be a potential historic realigning of the global energy market.
No, OPEC fades away. I mean,
Right.
whoever thought of that?
Yeah.
The UN is now certainly positioning itself to be a non-player.
Right.
And the UN's always been a non-player.
Yeah. Yeah. And then NATO?
NATO.
Yeah.
Did I say
UN? And UN's a non-player too in many ways.
NATO.
Yeah. Right.
And the president has really almost intimidated NATO to get involved in protecting the straits.
Right.
Because you guys get your oil from it.
Yeah.
They basically thumbed their nose at him. I'm thinking, so is the United States going to control the Straits of Hormuz?
Could be. Yeah. And what does that mean?
Well, you've got a chokehold on China and Russia.
Yep. Yes.
It's amazing. And the loose cannon out there, we haven't even talked about, is North Korea.
Yeah.
They're developing nukes on a weekly basis.
Yeah, and they're involved in the war in Ukraine, too. You remember that thing going on in Ukraine?
Well, see, and Zelensky's over there crying foul because he's not getting any attention anymore. You know, which I understand that, but that's just not in the news right now.
Right, yeah.
Wow, a lot going on. All right, let's check out, let's say, Siete Uno Grinder.
A look at our forecast from Grange Co-op. Today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, mostly sunny with daytime highs near 77 or 78 for Vancouver, Portland, and Wilsonville. Patchy morning fog in McMinnville, then sunny with a high near 76. Moving down the Willamette Valley, mostly sunny with highs in the mid-70s for Salem and Albany. Patchy fog, then sunny and 74 in Corvallis, and mostly cloudy, gradually becoming sunny near 75 in Eugene. Sunny and nice today across central Oregon with daytime high temperatures in the upper 70s in Prineville and mid-70s for Bend and Sun River. Also sunny skies in Boise, Idaho with a high near 79. Along the Oregon coast, decreasing clouds becoming sunny in mid-60s in Coos Bay, partly sunny in upper 50s to near 60 in Port Orford and Brookings, and patchy fog, then partly sunny and 60 in Crescent City, California. In southern Oregon, temperatures move up today under sunny skies with highs in the low 80s for Grants Pass and Medford and near 77 in Ashland. The Klamath Basin will see sunshine as well with highs in the mid-70s. Into northern California, sunny in upper 70s around Wairika. Mostly cloudy, gradually becoming sunny in low to mid-70s for Redding and Chico. Patchy fog over in Fort Bragg, then partly sunny in upper 50s. In the Bay Area, patchy fog, then partly sunny in upper 60s for Santa Rosa and Napa. A slight chance of showers in San Francisco, then mostly sunny in mid-60s. And patchy fog in San Jose, then partly sunny and near 67. For Central California, partly sunny in Sacramento, Stockton, and Fresno with highs in the upper 60s to near 70. A chance of rain, then partly sunny in Visalia and Bakersfield with highs in the upper 60s to low 70s. It's your Tuesday weather from Grange Co-op.
Well, we look back, but in looking back, we look at today. Because today marks Cinco de Mayo, and many think it is a celebration of Mexican independence, but it's not. On May 5th, 1862, in the city of Puebla, an outnumbered Mexican army pulled off a stunning upset. Facing nearly 6,000 well-equipped French troops, Mexico, led by General Ignacio Zaragoza, had only a few thousand soldiers, mainly poorly supplied. The French expected a quick victory, but after hours of fierce fighting, something unexpected happened. They lost. The French army retreated, handed a rare defeat by a determined Mexican force. At the time, Mexico's president, Benito Juarez, was fighting to keep the nation together amid foreign pressure and invasion. While the victory didn't end the war, it became a powerful symbol of resistance and national pride. And here's something many people don't realize. Cinco de Mayo is actually a relatively minor holiday in Mexico, celebrated mainly in the state of Puebla. But in the United States, it's grown into a much larger celebration of Mexican culture and heritage, all inspired by one unlikely victory.
Well, it's a big thing here.
Yeah, it is. Big celebration.
Fall on Taco Tuesday.
So what? Yeah, what a coincidence.
What a coincidence that is. And so you got Taco Tuesday, Cinco de Mayo. Let's see here. Noe Pineda. Now, he's Noe, love him to death.
Uh-huh.
And he did a Spanish show, Christian morning show, Sunday mornings on the Dove, then KDOV radio for years.
Really?
He'd come in, and he would do from 6 to 7 live in the studio, and he did the whole show in Spanish.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
He did it for years, and he had the Spanish-speaking Assembly of God Church here in town.
Oh.
And so we became friends, and his wife Rosie, and anyway, I never, and I'm going to repeat what he said because it got a lot of phone calls.
Really?
Yeah. So,
okay. Oh, good.
So I was talking to him on the air one day, and I said, "So what is Cinco de Mayo?" And he was trying to explain what you just did.
Okay.
Because everybody thinks that's Mexico's 4th of July. It's
right.
not.
Yeah.
It's this big battle that was won, okay?
Yeah.
He said, no, he said, that's not what it really is. And I said, so what is Cinco de Mayo? And he says, that's the day the new Chubbies come out.
Oh, gosh, that's wonderful.
All right, no, I did talk to Noe on the phone the other day on another deal. I said, Noe, do you remember saying that? He goes, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's good.
All right, so much for that.
I love it.
All right, let's switch gears. Let's go back to Jack Phillips. I don't know if you remember him, but he had the Masterpiece Cake Shop that was shut down over the lawsuit because he wouldn't cook a cake for a gay couple. Yeah.
Right.
And well, apparently this case is working its way to the Supreme Court. And here's a little bit of his exchange when he was on Focus on the Family.
We were not able to settle into a routine. You get up in the morning, you come to the shop, and you don't know what to expect. We had 4 protests that I know of. One of them, our parking lot was filled with a couple hundred people, but only about 20 protesters. But most of the people who showed up were here to support us. We took trays of cookies out and passed them out to all the people that were out there, and the people who were protesting us refused to take cookies. So I guess that's up to them, but we tried to be gracious and kind to everybody. I couldn't imagine it. I would think that just after a few weeks it would blow up, go away. But then in October we got served with papers from the state, so I knew it'd be longer. And then I had different people telling me that, this is a case that will go to the U.S. Supreme Court. Like, seriously? To the U.S. Supreme Court? Doesn't the Constitution protect my right to live according to my freedom, to freely exercise my faith? But eventually we did get to the U.S. Supreme Court. The day that I heard that the court was going to hear my case, I was here in the shop, and I was on my computer, and there's a website that I've become familiar with called SCOTUS blog, and it's a blog that follows the Supreme Court. And I've been watching it every Monday because that's when they would announce which cases they granted and which ones they denied. And so I'm looking at the screen, waiting, and suddenly I see 5 words on there. It's like, Masterpiece Cake Shop has been granted. 12 years later, 6 years later, it still gets me. That chokes me up. That day, I couldn't talk to anybody. I couldn't call anybody and say, hey, guess what? The Supreme Court's hearing our case. The only one that I could tell that was here was a homeless guy who comes in occasionally. So I told him, I get to go to the Supreme Court. Media, all kinds of stuff going on. It was just such a crazy day that erupted to the next 6 months of craziness, doing multiple interviews and supporters coming in, hateful phone calls still. Well, just constant, nonstop. Talking to different people, one of the things I thought of was, why don't we go ahead and file the petition? They're already not hearing our case. The worst they could do is deny our case, and then we're officially not being heard. And one of my attorneys told me, no, the worst that could happen is that they grant your case and you lose. And I think it was at that point that I realized how much larger this was than me and my cake shop, that this case represented every American. Because free speech is for everyone. And if I lose my rights, if they can take away my rights, they can take them away from anybody and or everybody. And I realized that what God has called us to do is so much larger than what I initially thought maybe.
Well, the case that really God used him and to protect our rights and our freedoms. And the only thing I can say is that it's not that the enemy gives up because they're continuing to challenge us at all levels. But if God chooses you to stand up, the question is, will you?
Yeah. Yeah.
And, here he is, a simple baker. Now he's changing policy for the world, so to speak.
Right.
So it's an amazing thing. I remember years ago, when we had just the AM station, and we were struggling trying to make this thing go. And every morning I'd go in to put the station. I had to go out and turn the transmitter on, come in and get ready to go on the air.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
And in the parking lot, this happened for quite a while. This little, believe it or not, VW van would pull up in the parking lot. And the guy would come out and he'd put a little rug down, and he'd sit down there and cross his leg and chant against us.
Oh, wow. Oh.
I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
I didn't know what this meant. And I'm in Ashland, and I'm thinking, how do I work this deal out,
Yeah.
And I'm trying to struggle. So I really felt like, what do I do? So I'll never forget it. Somebody brought us donuts one morning.
Okay.
So I got a plate full of donuts and a cup of coffee, and I took it out to the guy.
Fantastic.
And I gave him...
Did he take it?
He did.
Did he?
He took the 2 donuts and a cup of coffee. He said, well, thank you, man. I said, well, thank you. Have a good day.
Really?
And he never came back.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Spot off with donuts.
So, well, you overcome evil with good.
Right. Exactly.
But he obviously was chanting. He was New Ager. He was humming and buzzing against us, and donut solved the whole problem.
Humming and buzzing. That's good, man.
We'll be right back.
To all our moms of all ages, a very happy Mother's Day from the Dove TV.
I'm Susanna, and I contracted KA Designs to do custom cabinets throughout my house. We chose a really beautiful maple wood that really creates like a nice airy space. Everything was custom, and it was really cool because I got to literally see it come to life in person. We love to entertain, and we have a large family, so everything came together perfectly, exactly what I wanted. I highly suggest KA Designs if you're looking to design your dream house. Go check them out in their showroom. You will not be disappointed.
Having Kelly's be an automotive shop that takes care of people first is everything that you could hope it could be. Customer service and caring about others first is extremely important, and why we come here and why we keep coming here, and now why our children come here. The first experience they had with Kelly's, got in right away, took care of them, was honest with them, and they were like, I'm going nowhere else but Kelly's from here on out. And so just in one experience, you have 18-year-old kids being like, that's where I'm taking my car.
Have you seen Mornings on the Dove?
Another attempt on President Trump's life over the weekend. I think they hate this man so much that at any cost, at any excuse, any way, they want him gone. I think the real reason here is that he's taken 60 years of the slow evolution of the democratic stronghold in America with corruption and fraud and the advancement of socialism and turned it upside down.
Wake up to information. Mornings on the Dove, weekdays.
Okay, welcome back. The other day I had Brett Dusing on. He is the CEO of TruePlay, which is a faith-based alternative app for young people to go to. And so we were talking about how his app got booted off of Google and things like that. And then I said, all right, so obviously Google has a bias. And you mix those biases with AI, who obviously is nothing more than a machine that's programmed by biased people. How dangerous is this for young people? And here's what he had to say.
It's not like some guy sits behind a desk and pushes deny. It's that AI reads Christianity as dangerous. The reason we haven't been able to advertise on Google for a year and a half is not because, again, it's somebody sitting behind a desk every time we push an ad. It's because AI reads Christianity as dangerous and harmful. And clearly it reads satanic content or transgender content for kids, which is are there ads that Roblox has run, as wonderful, as beneficial, as things that kids need to see. So the real danger with AI is that very clearly with Google and TikTok, it hates the Christian worldview. They're AI models. In other words, AI models are programmed to have a certain level of values. If somebody says to ChatGPT, for example, should I commit suicide? Should I join the Nazi party? It will tell you, no, it's not a good idea, because it's been programmed to do so by the people who run it. The problem is, it will also steer kids away from Christianity, as you can see, at least with Google and ChatGPT's AI models, will steer people away from Christianity, little kids, and towards satanic, demonic, transgender content. So AI is a huge threat. It's a huge threat to children. It's a huge threat to the Christian worldview when it's run by people who have a very dark, toxic agenda, and that's why we're standing up and taking action. So there's a coalition of us, myself, the Billy Graham Association is involved, the ACLJ, some other great people who Gary Bauer from Family Values, where we're saying, listen, we can't have AI try to destroy the Christian worldview. If it's going to do this to a kid's video game, what's it going to do in a few years when you have determination by AI for who can speak publicly? Can churches still show up on a map app because maybe the Bible contains hate speech according to a leftist worldview? Will it allow Christian groups to receive electronic funds? There are certain Christian groups that were put on the hate group list, like Focus on the Family. Focus on the Family wants people to have children and have babies have a right to life. That's not a hate group. That's actually a love group, or whatever word you want to use. There's people trying to do the right thing, but they were classified as a hate group. So imagine AI blocking them from receiving electronic funding. There's all kinds of ways that AI can have a super destructive effect on not only our society, but especially on the youngest generation.
Well, the follow-up to that is AI now getting into Christian counseling, and if you don't know your Bible,
oh boy,
so you got to remember, AI is nothing more, and I'm trying to simplify it, is a machine programmed by people.
Yes.
That's all it is.
That's it.
And people with a bias.
Yes.
Now, in science and journalism, things like that, it's wonderful. But you get off into anything that would be philosophical or social, you've got to know what you're doing.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. All right, take with you Colossians 3:15. And let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, to which indeed you were called in one body. And be thankful today when somebody buys you a $2 taco.
Aha.
For Cinco de Mayo. 7-1.
Mom makes everything a little better. This Mother's Day, let her know. At Grange Co-op, we've got beautiful 10-inch hanging baskets for just $29.99. Jumbo annual packs are $5 each when you buy 2 or more, and select denim is 40% off. Plus, join us for our free Paint-A-Pot event Saturday, May 9th from 10 to 2. Find more deals at GrangeCoop.com or just scan the QR code. Grange Co-op, your Mother's Day destination, now through May 10th.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegateRV.com.
Being in business is challenging. At Network in Action Southern Oregon, we're all about real connection and real growth. We value your time with once-a-month meetings and believe in transformational relationships rather than transactional ones. We have 3 groups in the Valley, a Christian group, a Medford group, and a Grants Pass group, all filled with amazing local professionals. Network in Action Southern Oregon, so much more than just networking. Find out more at sonetworking.com.
Over time, every wall tells a story, but sometimes those stories need a fresh start. At Chris Silva Painting, we specialize in transforming indoor spaces, whether it's your family home or your business workspace. With premium paints, flexible scheduling, and expert attention to detail, we make the process simple and stress-free so you can focus on what matters most, living and working in a space you love. From bold new colors to subtle tones of sophistication, let Chris Silva Painting bring your vision to life, one wall at a time. Chris and his crew are courteous, they're efficient, organized, timely, and clean. Chris Silva Painting also offers military discounts. At Chris Silva Painting, our mission statement is to bring Christ's heart and principles to our customers and our job sites. We do that with honesty, integrity, and hard work. We don't cut corners, we paint them. CCB number 176097. Chris Silva Painting, 541-890-3960. 541-890-3960.
Jerry's Historical Archives. Moments to remember. Go back in time. Back in the day. TV shows of the past. Relive the past and learn something new. Open up Jerry's Historical Archives. Weekdays only on Mornings on the Dove. To all our mothers of all ages, a happy Mother's Day from the Dove TV, encouraging and informative.
To Focus Today. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson, and I have been looking forward to a very special guest today, Jay Collins. He is the Lieutenant Governor of Florida and is a U.S. Army Special Force veteran. He served in the Green Beret with multiple combat deployments and was awarded the Bronze Star for his service. Before becoming a lieutenant governor, Jay Collins was served in the Florida State Legislature, focusing on education, public safety, and the support of veterans and families. He now serves alongside Governor Ron DeSantis and bringing his military and public service experience to the state government, and he's also currently a candidate for governor. You can go jforflorida.com is the website, jforflorida.com, and there's a picture of that landing page. Lieutenant Governor, good to see you, friend. How are you today?
Good to see you. How are you doing today?
Great. Thanks for your time. This is a lot to talk to you about in a short amount of time. Let me lean on your military experience. What's your assessment of what's going on in the Middle East today?
Well, look, nobody wants peace more than someone who's truly been to war. But the fact is this, Iran, we know exactly what they've been. We know what the Ayatollah was, and we know how many American lives they've cost. We know they've been a focal point of terror for generations, really going back to the Carter administration. And we have to take that threat seriously. I'm grateful to have a president who takes it serious, who's leading on those issues. And Lord willing, you'll see some common sense from that regime roll back and move forward. But if they don't, I have no doubt that the president and his team have this under control. And I know we have good people out there ready to do whatever is necessary to keep and protect our nation in our way of life.
Are you surprised from the lack of support from NATO?
No, I'm not. No, not in the slightest bit. I spent 20 plus years at war. Look, we have to finish this. We know what Iran is. We know that they have paid for terrorism, but we also know that in this world, it's hard to stand up and push against these things. America's going to have to lead on this.
As you know, they have Project Freedom now, which is to get the straits opened up, and this is apparently separate from the previous combat there, but it's focused on the strait only, and yet they're being fired at. What do you think of that? And at the end of the day, do you think we end up controlling the straits ourselves?
Yeah, I think what we really hope for is stability in that region where people can focus on commerce, right? What's going on there, and you saw this today with ships being fired at, is untenable. We know that they're never going to be partners because of the Iranian regime and the terrorist proxies that they control, right? That's just the reality. That's how they've done business for 40 plus years. We're going to have to call them, right? Walk softly, carry a big stick, peace through strength, whatever it is. You have to be able to back it up with strength, which is what our nation can do. And I think President Trump is doing an admirable job of leading on those issues. But does it surprise me? No, not in the slightest that they're doing that. And ultimately, you've got to protect that and get commerce flowing through that region. Do I think that we end up controlling it? No, I don't. I think you'll end up with something focused on that space down the road, but we'll see how that plays out as this thing continues to evolve.
Globally, this seems to be a real game changer. I mean, OPEC now may be non-existence. This could impact whether or not NATO continues to be existence. This is a big deal, right?
It is. Well, the second, third, and fourth order evolutions of this are compoundingly interesting and critical, right? You look at the macroeconomic assets you're just talking about, yeah, we have a real value and a thought process in this. But I'm going to look at this from the national security, from the threat analysis standpoint. We know that Iran will never, under this regime, stand up and do the right thing. We're going to have to force that issue, and bringing them to the table and calling them out and holding them accountable is the right thing. Do I think that this is going to continue to provide opportunity for America, for us to grow our economy? Sure, it will. But I think it's also going to provide stability around the world. So free commerce, fair commerce is what we should see.
Lieutenant Governor, we went from the Department of Defense to the Department of War. Significant changes in our military across the board. How would you describe, from your position, would be the morale of the military today?
Well, I think it's a great name change. Our job in the military is to go fight and win wars, right? Having served, I fully support that mindset. Look, stop with all the nonsense. Stop with all the DEI, all of the things that rip us apart. Our job is to hone that fighting edge and to do whatever our nation needs us to do when we're asked. So I fully support that methodology and that approach, and it's quite welcome. I will tell you the ranks within the military, very appreciative for a commander-in-chief, for leadership that understands that we just want to do our job. We want to protect our people. We want to train. We want to be the best at what we do, and you got to get back to it. And obviously I'm saying we, because I still very much have a love and an affinity for the warfighter, the people who put their neck on the line. That's family. Those are people who make a difference. Those are people who put their lives in the line for a nation we love. And I'm grateful to see us take it serious and provide them real opportunity to master that craft and come home safely.
And again, thank you for your service. Cuba. What's your take on Cuba today?
Well, God willing, you'll see regime change there. Just 90 miles off the shore of Florida, you have a regime that has continually harmed families. We have an incredibly large Cuban population. You have an incredibly large Venezuelan population. All of them are God-fearing, freedom-loving people. Seeing Venezuela fall like that and Maduro come to face charges, not only did it destabilize Cuba, it really destabilized China in this North and South America footprint. You got to take countries like China, who really are out for economic or world domination in any way, shape, or form they can, seriously when they say things like they're on a new long march. But for Cuba, Patria Vida, I hope and pray that the regime changes. I hope you see the people get what they so deserve. Freedom has to come to that island. Those people, they deserve it. And God willing, it happens soon.
Do we step in, or we just let it take its course?
Well, I think it's going to depend on how we finish up with where we're at now. Let's finish the task at hand before we jump to another one. But, we have to do whatever is necessary, I think, to help expedite that. So I don't know that we're going to have to. I think the people and the forces within Cuba are going to push that. And I think that the regime is so unstable because of Venezuela falling and China and other countries not giving the same support structure. I think you'll see that regime continue to evolve and eventually implode on its own.
Does it become a territory, or does it remain its own country?
It should be its own country.
And
a sovereign nation.
How big is the Cuban population in Florida?
I'd have to get to the numbers, but look, man, despite whatever the number is, I don't have it off the top of my head, so I don't want to misstate that exact stat. It's a vibrant population. One of the things that's been really incredibly moving throughout this entire conversation with Venezuela and Cuba is to sit down there and have conversations with some of the La Brigada, the folks who were over there in the Bay of Pigs, who were imprisoned or fought for that freedom. They came here and they continue to train and join organizations like Special Forces within our military to train our warfighters, protect our people, and help learn those lessons here. Their warfighters are patriots, they're heroes, and it's great to see that connection in the community. It's amazing to see those stories upheld and that love for freedom being so vibrant within the community. We know that our rights are God-given. They're upheld by our Constitution, both nationally and federally. And we know that freedom is only one generation away from extinction. Yeah. And it's so moving to see the Cuban population, the Cuban people within our state here talk with such passion, so much love for what we have here in this country. It's incredible.
How would you describe religious freedom in Cuba today?
At an all-time low, right? We have to give them freedom. Freedom in all facets of life. You see a despot, you see the same tired, broken thing that happens with every socialist, communist regime, right? They take away freedoms, they make the government control everything. Essentially, the government becomes religion, it becomes your economy, it becomes everything you do, and they control it all. And those little crumbs that they give you get smaller and smaller. It destroys families, communities, cultures, countries, all indiscriminately. And we have to pray. We have to do what needs to be done because people don't deserve that type of life. I look forward to seeing Cuba continue to shift and evolve, and I hope and I pray that freedom comes to that island.
Well, I think we all do. What's so interesting about that, the potential commerce exchange between Cuba and just Florida alone could turn that little country back into unbelievable circumstances.
It's going to be a hard fight. You're going to have to grow the infrastructure. You're going to have to modernize really since the 1940s and 50s to modernize what we have there to make that work. It's going to take patience. One of the things that when you talk to a lot of these vibrant leaders, these community leaders in Miami, in places like Tampa, where we have large populations, they understand that. And when that regime changes, and believe me, they will not settle. They hope and pray for regime change because you can't trust the Castro regime in any facet, any shape. They want to see it change. They want to see commerce build, and they know this is going to be a long process to rebuild that country and get them back into what they can be, what they should be, rightfully so.
Wonderful. All right, I want to shift your attention to Florida. You are running for governor, but before we get into that, tell us, how would you describe your state today?
We are the conservative proving grounds of America. We have fought on every single issue that when we've led on those. And you see America following largely in one of many of the things we've done. It's incredible. I expect us to lead. We are, in my estimation, the leading state among the 50 and a nearly $1.8 trillion economy and growing. We have to continue to fight for those things that matter.
Are you becoming New York South?
No, we will never become New York South. Yeah, look, we've got to fight for what makes Florida what it is. Yeah. That is a vibrant lesson, what not to do, right up there.
There's no question about it. The state is a model across the board, and a lot of people are moving there. Your commerce is doing very, very well. What's on your mind for running for governor?
Well, look, I'm blessed, right? I'm a kid who grew up in a trailer. I was born to a 16-year-old kid. I was adopted by my grandparents. We lost our family farm. And in a country like ours, and in a state like Florida, someone who grew up on welfare, commodity cheese, if you will, can rise to be the 21st Lieutenant Governor of Florida. I wake up every day with gratitude, not only to be a citizen of these United States, but to be a citizen of the great state of Florida, because we lead. I see myself as a warrior, not truly a politician, and the mission always remains the same. We protect and preserve what we have, what we love, and what we stand for the next generation. I'm honored to be the Lieutenant Governor of Florida, the 21st in our state's history. Blessed to have been a Green Beret, but I'm a dad and a husband first and foremost. We have to make sure that we pass on what we have so our kids can do the exact same thing. That is the beauty and that's the responsibility of being a citizen of this country and in this state. When I look at Florida, I look at economy, education, and safety and security in our state. Everything starts with safety, making sure it's a time, tools, training thing. It's building an economy that grows as we scale up to a $3 trillion economy, but not forgetting that food security is national security, that we have a vibrant tourism industry, and we have to maintain the things that people love about Florida. So growth has to be on our terms. And the last thing is this. What we teach our kids today is reality of our state tomorrow. If we don't fight for true education, not indoctrination, but education, I want our kids to be not only competitive, but I want them to be leading on that cutting edge and make sure they have every opportunity to accelerate and live that American dream right here in Florida.
All right, I want to ask you more questions on that. Let me take a quick break. Delighted to have with us Jay Collins, Lieutenant Governor of the state of Florida. Check out his website, j4florida.com. There's a picture of the landing page. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back.
The threat of wildfire poses a growing risk to Oregonians. You can prepare now by taking 3 important steps. Create a home inventory, make copies of important financial records, and contact your insurance company to make sure you have the right amounts and types of home insurance coverage. Be wildfire ready by being insurance ready. Visit dfr.oregon.gov/prepare now to learn how.
Combining your home and auto insurance could save you time and money. And who doesn't like that? Want surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life? Now's the time to call State Farm agent Rory Wold in Medford.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hi, I'm the SOS Alarm guy, here to tell you about a great deal. SOS Alarm will not only beat any internet deal, but will install the system too. So burglars, beware. SOS Alarm for security and beyond.
The Dove TV, encouraging and informative for the Fresno Visalia area on new full-power KEDZ TV, seen on cable, satellite TV, and over the air. The Dove TV, encouraging and informative for the Fresno Visalia area on new full-power KEDZ TV.
Okay, welcome back, and honored to have with us Jay Collins. He is the Lieutenant Governor of the state of Florida. He's formerly a U.S. Army Special Forces veteran, served in the Green Beret, and has earned a Bronze Star, was awarded a Bronze Star. He's now running for governor, and a lot going on with that state, and such a critical state and such a critical area, especially just 90 miles away from Cuba and all that's going on there. Mr. Lieutenant Governor, I was curious. First of all, Florida just got approved their new congressional map. As you know, congressional districting is quite the fight.
Yeah. Sure is.
It's in the news, and the Supreme Court's involved. What's your take on all this?
Well, it's interesting, right? Timing's everything in life. We've had such exponential growth in Florida. It's been incredible. You can really make a cogent argument. We've had 10 years of growth, over the last 5 years, really since COVID. When you look at our districts, we know there was a little bit of wonkiness with the Biden administration and how they did that population survey, that perhaps it really looks a lot like we were shorted probably at least one seat based on an under survey of over 700,000 people in that number. So when we look at this, I want an accurate representation of our geography overlaced with our population density. I think that's what you see in our maps. Often, gerrymandered districts have these long worm-like lines going through strange population areas that have no connection to others. You don't see that in ours. You see very clean boxes that connect across logical spaces. Very happy with where we are. I think we did a good job in creating those maps, and I do believe they'll withstand scrutiny.
Yeah, from what I understand, you guys did it the right way, and like you said, it's obvious. I've seen where lines have been drawn around somebody's house. In some
Yes,
states.
sir.
All right, so at the end of the day, how do you think your congressional lineup will look?
Well, it's really going to come down to how the people vote. I think you can make a cogent argument that you'll see an increase potentially in Republican districts, but that wasn't the goal going in. We wanted an accurate representation for our people. That is what the map looks like. We've gone from a swing state, a purple state, to a state with nearly 1.5 million voter advantage for the Republicans. What you see is an articulated analysis and breakdown of that in our maps. I've seen people speculate it's 24-4, but I'll say this: Republicans have to show up. We got to show up to the polls, so we got to do what we have to do. That's my thoughts. You got to fight for it. You got to fight like you're 10 points down every day. Leave nothing to chance. Show up and work hard.
Obviously, you're busy campaigning, and as you traffic the state, that's no easy job. You're in and out of districts like crazy. What do you sense is on Floridians' mind? Is it domestic issues or international issues or national issues?
Look, everything comes down to money, right? Economy. People want to understand affordability. They want to see more money in their pockets, whether it's insurance rates dropping. There's a huge discussion going on in our state right now, a state with no income tax, to have no property tax on your homesteaded properties. And then the third leg of that stool, if you will, is really how do we bring in better paying jobs? How do we raise that standard of living, not by settling, but through blowing that roof off, right? Providing better salaries, more opportunity, bringing back those trades and building up that middle sector of our economy while raising those wages and opportunities. That's really, I think, what gets people the most excited right now, more than anything.
With the growth, isn't that happening? I mean, if you got that kind of growth and incoming of people, obviously it's going to produce the need for more buildings and things like that. Is that happening?
Sure. Well, partially, right? But you also have to maintain what makes Florida what it is, right? Overgrowth and overbuilding, it all has to come in scale, right? So we need higher paying jobs. We also can't afford to neglect the trades. The average tradesman is 58 years old right now. The average farmer is 58.9. That's a problem. We have to drop that mean age. We got to make the economic models in those areas work more appropriately. You got to fight for those things. There's a lot of discussion on data centers and AI and technology, but those things have to happen on Florida's terms in a way that works for our state, in our way of life. Because, as you mentioned earlier, we're never going to become New York South. We are the free state of Florida. Governor DeSantis has done an incredible job, and we got to maintain that thought process, that legacy, but lead for the next 8 years and grow this state into its best form moving forward.
You briefly touched on education. How would you describe education in the state of Florida today?
So we're number one in our university system. We're doing great there. We're growing in terms of and are making dramatic improvements in terms of our state schools. There's always things to continue to evolve on. We have incredible leaders across the state. Grateful to have worked with them. We are a school choice state. We are number one for educational freedom for parents, for families, because we understand a very simple thing. There is no one size fits all approach to education. There just isn't. You got to find education that works for you, your family, whether it's private school, public, charter, homeschool. Find something that works and make sure that we give you opportunity for excellence. Moving forward, I would love to see a little bit more alignment with commerce, our gaps in our economic model and create a workforce that aligns with those gaps long term. You know, a reciprocal alignment that prepares our children for where those gaps are and what they want to do, whether it's going to a four-year university or beyond, or going into the trades, or moving into an entrepreneurial approach. I think there's excellence in all of those things. And as Aristotle said, excellence is a habit. It's just laying down those bricks, and that's very much the Florida way.
Well said. Well said. I want to come back to property taxes. Do you have a property tax or not?
Yeah, we do. We are pushing hard right now. We should have a special session really before July that will put out there, God willing, it gets past the Senate, the House, signed by the governor, it gets on the ballot. We want to get rid of property tax on homesteaded properties. So when you pay off your mortgage, it is free and clear of the government. You never really truly own your home if the government can take it from you. That's what we're fighting for right now.
Wow, because what we're pushing for, I don't know if we'll ever see it, hopefully we will someday, but at least have the senior citizens have their property taxes frozen at 65.
Yep. You know. Yeah, so we're going to go for the gusto on this. We want to get rid of homesteaded property tax, but it's why. What do we want to empower and enable by doing that? The American dream has always been predicated on owning your home. We want to incentivize that. We want people to put down their roots, own their kingdom, own their home, free and clear of the government. But also, when our senior citizens decide to retire, downscale, they're not priced out of the economy, right? They're not going to be able to have to be stuck in a home that they can't afford or is too big for them, doesn't fit their lifestyle, and they can bring that homestead on and move right back into a comfortable lifestyle for their needs. We have to make sure that we put more money in people's pockets. And what I love about the property tax discussion is that it's a lever we control in the state. You know, we can fix some things in insurance. We can draw in like-minded businesses, but property tax, we drive that, we can control that, we can make that happen. Now it's a matter of getting the right bill through special session, getting it signed by the governor and getting on the ballot and getting 60% of the people of Florida to vote for what is an incredible idea to put money back in their families' pockets.
Well, I'll say this, if you pass that, you'll have an influx of people from all over the country. That's be unbelievable. I want to come back to one other quick question. As you know, the price of gas is impacting everybody. The East Coast prices are a little bit lower than the West Coast prices, but are people being patient about this or growing weary about it?
Well, I think it's all back into the affordability. People definitely want to see relief at the pumps. And I think there's things that we can do. We're already putting pieces in place to help drop those prices and do what we can in Florida because we listen to our people. We understand that it's about money. It's about paying your bills and feeding your family. And look, personally, I grew up off and on welfare, right? I had commodity cheese. I had to make choices growing up where I didn't get to choose what I wanted. We had to choose between things we needed. I get that. We want people to live their life, and we're going to fight for those things just like we always have. But yeah, it's something that people understand, and it's up to us to also message that. And I think why this is happening, where the relief is coming, and what we can do to help maintain that dialogue and help draw prices down however we can.
What have you learned from serving with Governor DeSantis?
Well, I'll tell you what, if you watch him, he is absolutely incredible. His wife calls him a steely-eyed missile man. I think it's very true. You look at COVID. When our nation was folding and COVID was destroying businesses and hurting lives, and I think there's a cogent argument to say that we won't really know the full fallout educationally on our children for many, many years. Governor DeSantis said, what you're saying doesn't make sense. And he stepped forward into the breach. He was willing to stand on his own to protect our people. He got between those people who wanted to do harm in his mind and protect our people. And our economy grew. Our state has grown. That all came down to one man having the courage, conviction, and candor to stand alone, if necessary, and fight for the people of Florida. What did I learn? Just as I always have been, I'm a warrior. And the warrior ethos and mentality transfers directly to how we lead our state. We are the only state with a combat veteran as governor and lieutenant governor among the 50. I learned executive energy watching him. He is all over the state all the time. You got to be present. You got to see people for who they are, how they are, where they are. I look back to Hurricane Ian, when Governor DeSantis built a bridge in 3 days that we were told was going to take months. No excuses, solve problems. Don't be afraid to innovate and lead. That bold, conservative approach is what Florida demands. It's what our people are used to. And as God willing, the next governor of Florida, I will absolutely bring that same energy and approach, because winning matters. Winning for our people is incredibly important.
Mr. Lieutenant Governor, thank you for your time. Thank you for your service. Let me show our viewers and listeners, check out his website, j4florida.com. There's a picture of that landing page. And you'll learn a lot by taking a look at what's happening in Florida. I have to say this, you have your state as a model. And thank you both for your leadership. Thank you much.
Thank you so much. We are blessed to live here. We just got to keep it moving the Florida way. God bless, my friend.
All right, God bless you.
Mom makes everything a little better. This Mother's Day, let her know. At Grange Co-op, we've got beautiful 10-inch hanging baskets for just $29.99. Jumbo annual packs are $5 each when you buy 2 or more, and select denim is 40% off. Plus, join us for our free Paint-A-Pot event Saturday, May 9th from 10 to 2. Find more deals at grangecoop.com or just scan the QR code. Grange Co-op, your Mother's Day destination, now through May 10th.
When life feels heavy, your body feels it, your mind feels it. That is why I created Organic Elements Wellness Spa, a place where wellness is not a luxury, it's a way of life. Step into our wellness lounge with a Himalayan salt room, infrared sauna, steam room, and invigorating cold plunge. Restore your nervous system, detox your body, and clear your mind. Then experience customized massage, advanced skin therapies, and result-driven facials, all designed to help you look as good as you feel. There's nothing else like this in Southern Oregon. This is your space to heal, to reset, to glow. Call today to book your private wellness party for up to 15 guests, or surprise someone special with a gift certificate.
Visit Organic Elements Wellness Spa on East Main Street in Medford. Book online at organicelementspa.com. Wellness is wholeness. Voted best of Southern Oregon.
The Southern Oregon Repertory Singers bring 2 stunning world premieres to the SOU Music Recital Hall, May 9th and 10th. Featuring more than 70 choral voices, orchestra, and internationally renowned baritone Christopher Nomura, this concert is the grand finale of their 40th season. Experience the power and excitement of new musical journeys with the Southern Oregon Repertory Singers. For tickets, visit repsingers.org. That's repsingers.org.
Welcome back. A word that you hear a lot in discussion today is the word weaponization. And I am really honored to have with us today Seth Barron. He's a journalist, author, and editorial board member there at the New York Post, where he covers local and national politics. He's the author of The Last Days of New York, and his latest book is entitled Weaponized, where he examines how he believes major American institutions have been reshaped by political forces. There's a picture of the cover of the book on the screen there, Weaponized. Seth, good to see you. How are you, friend?
Oh, I'm well, Perry. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks. Where are you? Where are we talking to you from?
I'm in Manhattan. I'm in New York City.
Okay. All right. Well, if you need an escape, let us know. We'll come get you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No worries. Good to see you. Thanks for your time. How would you describe weaponization?
I talk about weaponization as the way in which the left has infiltrated, renamed, turned vital institutions against the American people, institutions that we trust and that have a good name. They have very cleverly turned them inside out, inverted them, and perverted them against us.
Intentionally.
Oh, very intentionally. They have a goal of essentially deconstructing the American way of life. So that's why they've gone and looked into these 4 key domains of life. I talk about citizenship, education, housing, and public safety. They very cleverly essentially dismantled these and made it difficult for us to continue to live the way we expected.
With what being their goal?
You know, that's a really good question. The left, I think that what they really seek is power. They're not really interested in, the right, conservatives tend to think in terms of family, home, church, community, these sorts of things. For the left, politics is everything. Politics is religion. Politics is romance. Politics is family. So this is their life. They eat and breathe this stuff. And I think what their goal is just to achieve ideological power. They're motivated largely by resentment, driven by like racial and class grievances. They loathe individual success. They believe that everything properly belongs to the state, and as representatives of the state, they should, essentially have, the power to allocate resources.
I've often said, Seth, on the program, the left gets an A+ in blaming you for what they're doing.
Yeah, I would say that's a fair estimation. Every accusation is a confession, right? I think that they're doing that. Look at, one thing I talk about in the book is housing. My essential premise is that as Americans, we were invested by God and in the Constitution as we are the sovereigns. Power derives from the people. The left is annoyed by this because they believe that power derives from the state and the state gives you everything. So essentially what I've seen is the left slowly and surely removing power from the local, from the individual and from the community, and raising it up into higher and higher realms that are less and less accountable, essentially to put all decision-making in the hands of experts. So with housing, for instance, we see local zoning laws, which allow homeowners and people who have deep investment in the community to decide what the community should look like. But the left would like to remove that power because they have other ideas for what your community should look like. In a parallel, look at the open borders movement. Under Biden, 40 million people were invited to just, flood the country. No one was consulted about that. In both cases, the left believes that you do not have the right to decide what the place you live in should look like. These are decisions that are made elsewhere by people smarter and better than you. That's the viewpoint.
As they have, in many cases, successfully infiltrated key institutions, it's created a lack of trust in these institutions. One of the great phenomenons that we're seeing among young people today is they're waking up to the fact that they've been lied to. One of the key questions that we deal with in this program is, who can you trust? And I'm wondering if their attempt to weaponize institutions and take control of them is beginning to backfire.
That's a really good question. I think so. I mean, the problem is if you devote your whole program to eroding trust in society, well, eventually you have to replace that with something. And if all you've replaced it with is just terminal skepticism, just constant questioning, constant revolution, well, eventually it will turn on you because the left has no fundamental values aside from, overturning systems of oppression. So, sure, I think we do see that. Right now, the Democrats are riven. They're being torn apart by, every time they throw up a very leftist candidate, sooner or later someone comes along and says, well, they're not going extreme enough. And we see that in New York City. People are angry that Mamdani won't direct the NYPD essentially to combat ICE. And so naturally, someone will come along and say, yes, when I'm mayor, I will instruct the NYPD to do battle with ICE and not let them, deport our immigrants. So sure, there is a backlash, but the problem with backlash is it's kind of chaotic. It's hard to direct the power of a backlash. So it's not clear that the conservatives necessarily can harness that energy.
Okay, so digging a little bit deeper on this, Seth, what does the left use as a moral foundation? I mean, at times they're even at odds with natural law. So, is there a moral base to this? According to them, is there a moral base to this?
Absolutely. To them, morality is based in equity. And equity means everyone having the same thing. So it's redistributionist, which they see as extremely moral. And it's all underwritten or shot through with this idea that race and other immutable characteristics like, sex, I guess sexuality, nationality, skin color, that these things are ultimately dispositive of how you exist in society and how you are treated. So undoing systems of oppression for them, which is really the number one goal, that begins by looking into what they see as the prevailing ideology, which is white supremacy, and undoing that and fighting it in every corner of existence. And they find it wherever they look, unsurprisingly. So they see that as the highest morality. Giving up, they see it as a kind of like treason to, there's a book called Treason to Whiteness is the highest human goal, essentially. So is embracing humanity, I think. I would say that that's the essence of their morality. It's all based on, overturning oppressive ideologies.
Okay. At the cost of denying natural law?
Oh, absolutely. They don't believe in natural law. They see law strictly as a cudgel that the wealthy and the powerful use to impose their will. They don't believe in natural law. They don't believe, they're largely atheistic. So to them, it's all just a question of power. Like, how can you engage and disrupt structures of power and basically seize it? It's a zero-sum game for them. And, ideas about morality, the innate dignity of man, the innate, like the God spark within us. This is not important. This is not relevant. And that's why communists regularly will kill, millions and millions of people, even their own citizens, because to them, what's really the driving force is history. History is the prime mover. And, they have this vision of an idealized society that has nothing to do with God or has nothing to do with the spirit. The only spirit is the world spirit, which moves through history.
So what do they look to as a success, as an example of success? Every country that's tried this fails. Every leader that tries this fails. Are they thinking now that they're the exception?
Well, that's the beauty of it, isn't it? You can't, you can never tell them that it's been tried, because they can just say, well, no, that was imperfect, or, Cuba would be great if it weren't for the U.S. Iran would have been terrific if only they had let Mossadegh stay in power. Essentially, the U.S. is, in their mind, going around and racism, destroying everything. So until, like I said, I know I keep repeating this, but until all systems of oppression are gone, you're not going to be able to really witness the fruits of the communist endeavor. So, I mean, look at the way the teachers' unions have seized control of the schools. And to them, it doesn't matter if the test scores aren't any good or if the kids graduate and they can't read. That's fine. That's good news. All that means is, well, you're not giving enough money to the schools. If we would fully fund the schools, things would be better. As long as you're just always looking for a root cause, you never have to assign blame. Brandon Johnson is the mayor of Chicago. He was a product of the teachers' unions. And when he came in, they had something called Accountability Mondays, where they would get together, his office would get together on a Monday and kind of go over the weekend's harvest of murders and whatnot and figure out what to do. And he canceled it. He said, there's no accountability here. Nobody's accountable for any of this. This is all based on social root causes. We have to get to the root causes of these things. And until then, I'm not taking any blame. I'm not taking responsibility for this. My only responsibility is to make sure the teachers are fully funded and that the police aren't, overstepping their authority and, going about arresting the wrong kind of people.
That's amazing. I'd ask more questions on this. Let me take a quick break. Let me say to our viewers and listeners, check out Seth's latest book called Weaponized. There's a picture of it there on the screen. Available where, Seth?
Oh, you can get it on Amazon.com. I went to my local bookstore. They had it. Good. I don't know who's still doing that, but yeah, Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com.
All right.
Wherever.
Called Weaponized by Seth Barron. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back.
The Lennox iComfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Metal Masters can give you the smartest home comfort system available. It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable. Trust Metal Masters to provide perfect air for your family.
Lennox. Air is life. Make it perfect.
Stewardship begins with the knowledge that nothing belongs to us, but everything belongs to the Lord. This helps us to run a business not in the fear of lack, but in the assurance of His care and provision. Such a perspective eliminates the drive to sell and replaces it with a heart that says serve. This begins with serving our clients and coworkers with integrity and genuine care. That's why at Kelly's, it's automotive service with a heart for God, and treating others as we ourselves would want to be treated. Our promise is to never sell our clients anything we don't believe they need. Another is to do all we can to meet other needs, such as shuttle service and loaner cars, or taking the time to really listen, even at times praying with our customers. Sometimes this means sacrifice, going above and beyond. But that's why I work for Kelly's Automotive Service, honoring God while serving people with honesty and integrity.
To all our moms of all ages, a very happy Mother's Day from the Dove TV.
Okay, welcome back, and such an honor to have with us today Seth Barron. He's a journalist, author, and he's also on the editorial board of the New York Post. His latest book is a must-read called Weaponized. There's a picture of the cover of the book. You can get it online there at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and pretty much talks about how the left has weaponized all the major agencies and institutions out there, and what does it mean, and where is it going. I want to just come back to one thing a little bit here, Seth. It appears that some of this is really starting to backfire. I've had George Barna on quite a bit, and he's quite a guy, as you know, and he researches a lot. But he's tracking something that's really interesting, and it continues to be consistent. And that's young men are leaving this nonsense. They're not only investigating faith, but they're angry now that they've been lied to. So it seems like there may be a breaking point in the nonsense, and they don't seem, I say they, these radicals on the left, can't get past the Trump derangement syndrome. I mean, it's a real thing. It does impact them. The combination of the two has made them look silly, stupid, ridiculous. Is there an end to this, you think?
Well, it's a good question. And like I said, there is a backlash. And yes, there's articles about young men returning to the church or, going to church for the first time, embracing, religion, traditional modes of being. But then at the same time, you've got folks like this guy up in Maine, this pretend oyster farmer who walks around with a giant Nazi tattoo for 20 years and then pretends he didn't know what it was. And he's catching on, even though his opinions are ruinous, like he's a communist. Listen, here's the thing. The left has played a shell game with us. There's this old phrase, think globally, act locally. And that has a seductive simplicity to it. Oh, yes, we think about the big picture and then we work on the little picture. But what this saying asks you to do is to ignore the evidence that you gain from your own senses and your own thoughts and your own comprehension of the world as it is. And it says, hey, we've got some folks over here who've already figured out the big picture. They've worked it all out. We'd like you to take this and insert it into your brain and act like that from now on. So, yes, we mustn't use any fossil fuels. Yes, even though it seems to you that women are women and men are men, well, actually, this has all been rebooted. And no, women can be men can be women, and you just have to go along with it. So this inversion of reality, this perversion of natural law, naturally it's going to have an effect because it's just so preposterous that people can't go along with it. It doesn't make any sense. So, effectively the left wants to, destroy everyone's capacity for thought. I think that a lot of the stuff with the trans, if you can convince people that men are women, well, you can convince them of anything. And that, I think the confusion is the point. Yes, they would like to, there's certainly people who are invested in gender, this and that. But I think the real point is just to confuse people immensely. If you can convince them that men are women, you can convince them that it's better to, live in a shoebox surrounded by, 500,000 other people. You don't have a car. You just walk to work and walk home. And that's your life. You don't need to get married. It's good to bring in immigrants to do all the hard work and just keep quiet. I think that's, do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So let me swing your attention what time I got left over to Mondani. This is so interesting. A couple questions. Does New York survive him? And secondly, where he's trying to be seen as a socialist, he's a radical Islamist. He's using, in my opinion, he's using socialism to advance his religion. But he got elected. Does New York survive this?
That's a good question. I think, there's a lot of ruin in a city. It can take a long time to unwind everything. He's kept a pretty good police commissioner in, and he's letting the police do their jobs for now. We'll see how long that lasts. I think he is a socialist. I think that there's this breed of third worldism that marries Islamism with social revolution. And remember, he is a Shia, And Shiites are more invested in this vision of justice in the world. Like they're very obsessed with oppression and what happened to, their favorite imam, like right after Muhammad died. So I think he's definitely animated by that spirit. New York is going to face really tough times. He has this sense that money is just something there to be taken back from the left views money as all theirs, and you get to keep some. That's their view of taxation. Same way they view children. Like children belong to the state. You can feed them and clothe them, but the state ultimately owns them, and will tell them what to think. Mamdani is a hard case. He has this strange charm. He's kind of dazzled everybody, or some people anyway, his followers. I mean, do I think he's going to start demanding that we all pay the jizya, like the tax for the unbelievers? Well, probably not. But I agree with you that there's something very creepy going on with this guy.
Yeah, it's just, but on the other hand, New York did elect him, and you kind of go, okay, what do you?
Well, New York has changed. It is now about 12 or 13% Muslim, which 25 years ago, who would have thunk? There was no inkling that this was going to happen. There's a lot of young people who are frustrated, who believe that everything should be free for them. And that they should be entitled to live in the coolest neighborhood and pay $500 a month and work maybe 20 hours a week and hang out and so forth. And then there's a huge number of people in the city who are completely dependent on rental assistance, free healthcare, free food, free transit. So, if you're going to promise them more of that, well, why wouldn't they vote for him? And that's what he did. I mean, he's very much a demagogue. But yeah, he was elected, but not by a huge margin. He didn't, he won, I think, 50.2% of the Democrat primary. So I think he will have a difficult time getting reelected, though it's hard to say.
So from your point of view, I only got about a minute and a half left. What happens to California? What happens to Seattle? What happens to Minneapolis? What happens?
I mean, these places are headed for destruction. They have ruinous policies, fiscal policies. They're chasing out all of their productive people. And they just keep saying, no. What we have to do is to make things more affordable for people who don't really have any money to begin with and who don't really pay for things. We have to give them more free stuff. It's a strange calculus. A place like California, you're going to wind up with, it's very feudal. You're going to have some people, like a handful of people who have over $100 billion, and they don't really care if they have to pay some taxes. And then you're going to have, this massive population of serfs, people who are just dependent on the state and don't really care. And anyone in the middle is going to flee to places like Florida. So you were just talking to the lieutenant governor. Florida, Tennessee, Georgia, anywhere that does, or Texas, anywhere that doesn't have this crazy socialistic point of view. I think those states are in for a tough ride.
Yeah, we're real close to California. We're watching this. It's interesting. At the end of the day, somebody said they're like 48 days away at any given moment from bankruptcy.
I mean, this guy wants to run the country. Newsom.
Yeah, it's crazy. What do you want people to get from your book?
I'd like people to get the sense that, as opposed to thinking globally and acting locally, it's time to think locally and act locally. The time is late, but it's not over. We still have a chance to reclaim America. The charter school movement is a great example of how that can happen. We have pushed back against defund the police. We need people to wake up in their neighborhoods. And Trump closed the border. It wasn't that hard. So there is a chance, but we have to be as vigilant and as, at the ready as the left always is, because they don't sleep on it. We tend to take a victory and then go back to, our families and our homesteads.
Yeah. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it much. Let me say to our viewers and listeners, check out his book called Weaponized. It's available at Barnes & Noble and online at Amazon. His previous book, The Last Days of New York, you may want to check that out. And you'll see his writings there in the New York Post as well. Thank you, Seth. God bless you, friend. Let's stay connected.
Thank you, Perry.
Ministries on the Move spotlights how God is using everyday people and organizations to bring light, love, and transformation to others through inspiring conversations and real-life stories. Join me Tuesdays and Thursdays right here on theDove TV.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living,